too, guys. Matt Ryan had the Heisman hope. Weatherford was a better quarterback at Chestnut Hill.
He was. Made plays. Not a lot of people thought he could do it, but the guy made plays downfield creating. That was a big game.
That was all Jesse. What are you watching this week?
I was going to say, I'm going to be at Florida State, Virginia Tech, and I'm interested to see how Weatherford responds again. You know, he was splendid last week, and I really think one of the biggest reasons is that he didn't have Xavier Lee looking over his shoulder. That's really been a big...
All right, fellas, good stuff. Joe and Jesse, I'm Matt. Kickoff right now from Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Tonight, the Chippewas of Central Michigan put their jerseys on knowing that only one win separates them from a division title. The only problem, the team wearing the black and gold, the Western Michigan Broncos, their arch rivals. Tonight, they meet under the lights in Kalamazoo in the game of the year so far in the MAC. The definition is clear. It's the foundation college football is built upon. And tonight, two teams that have a good, clean hate for one another renew a rivalry that dates back to 1907. Central Michigan and Western Michigan meet for the 78th time in a Tuesday night tussle. Tonight at Waldo Stadium, we get one of those special atmospheres that college sports produces. It's Central Michigan and Western Michigan here in Kalamazoo on College Football Prime Time. I'm Bob Wischusen with Ray Bentley. Todd Harris will join us in just a moment. And I'm lucky to be sitting alongside a man that understands this rivalry from the inside, from your days way back when with the leather helmets at Central Michigan. You know what these players are going through right now, getting ready for the game they circle on their calendar all year long.
Bob, it's as intense as it gets in terms of this rivalry. And maybe nationally it isn't known, but here it is very well known. This is the game you circle on your calendar. This is the one you gear up, and it can make or break your season. Spoke with quarterback for Western Michigan, Tim Hiller, and he described it as a good, clean hate. And I kind of agree with that, except you got to take out the good, clean part, because it's just pure hatred between these two football teams, and it's going to be fun to watch it go down tonight.
Well, we were told that the players might hate the weather tonight. We were told lake effect snow and possible freezing rain. Maybe not the case. Todd Harris is downstairs with more.
Well, I'm told compared to last year's game at Mount Pleasant, this is downright balmy. The temperature at kickoff, they're saying, with the wind chill, should hover around a very toasty 28 degrees. I talked with both quarterbacks, and they said, they're not worried about the cold weather or the possibility of the snow. The wind, though, could be an issue with wind gusts getting close to 20 miles an hour. So we'll keep our eye on the weather for sure. Now, for Western Michigan, they did take precautions knowing that it was going to be cold tonight. They dedicated one practice this week to the entire team, including the quarterback, Tim Hiller, wearing gloves on both hands. They say he can throw the ball effectively with or without a glove. But Ray Bentley, this is Michigan. You don't wear gloves in Michigan.
That's right.
Well, you can see Western Michigan, they are chomping at the bit to play spoiler tonight, as if the rivalry wasn't enough. If Central Michigan wins this game, they win the West Division. So there's a lot riding, and obviously this is a conference that's very well known for its quarterbacks. We might be looking at the next great one tonight.
I think we are in Central Michigan's Dan Lefevre, an outstanding dual-threat quarterback. He's got a very strong, accurate arm. You can see the numbers he's thrown up so far this year. Outstanding, 7th in the nation in all-purpose or total yards. But he's a very accurate quarterback. When his footwork is good, he throws dimes all over the field. And then he can make throws on the run. And then probably the most dangerous aspect of his game is when he pulls it down and scrambles. Has 2 100-yard rushing games this year. So the guy that's going to have to stop him is Louis Delmas, the safety for Western Michigan, an outstanding football player. When he comes down and joins the run game, he's not trying to just break down and make a tackle, but he's trying to come down there with ill intent to hurt somebody. I like the way the kid plays.
It's going to be a fun night here in Kalamazoo. We're glad that you're along for the ride, and we will not only be talking about our game, but a lot more tonight as the Western Michigan Broncos take their home field. We'll talk about the Heisman race tonight as well. Is Arkansas's Darren McFadden the favorite once again? And as well as our great rivalry games, some other fantastic college football rivalry games to come that could impact the national championship.
Kids, are you sick and tired of video games that are horrible? That's why you'll love The Simpsons game. It's got all your favorite Springfield characters, like the fat guy, the blue-haired dame, their annoying little kids, plus aliens, gangsters, receive loggers and surprise guests. And the best part is, I'm the star. What? They can't play as me? What do you mean, ancillary character? The Simpsons game, rated T for teen.
PlayStation 3, starting at $3.99.
Oh, game day.
Like your breakfast.
Birdwood, your new car's rolling.
It's not stolen. I just bought it.
It's gonna hit that truck.
They don't need to swear.
Hot car, huh?
On fire.
Do you have new car replacement? Call Allstate to sign up today. Are you in good hands?
This telecast is available on ESPN HD, presented by Pioneer Kuro HD TV. Where are we? Well, we're in Kalamazoo. Where is Kalamazoo, Michigan? Well, Google Maps will show you. These are two schools that are not too far of a bus ride away from each other. Central just up the road from Kalamazoo, where the Western Michigan Broncos call home. Here at Waldo Stadium, and the rivalry tonight, which Western Michigan leads 43-33, will try to be swept from last year to this year by Central for the first time in 15 years. The head coach looking to win a division title in his first season at Central Michigan is Butch Jones. Spent the last couple of years with Rich Rodriguez as an assistant at West Virginia, and he has some recruits on his team that he was able to get to come to Central Michigan, that he was recruiting to West Virginia. There's some skill position players like Antonio Brown that he is very, very happy to have here in Michigan. Bill Cubitt in his third year at Western Michigan, and he has turned this program around. He told us it was in complete disarray before he was able to come in and really, Ray, inspire some discipline that has now infected not only his players, but the program as a whole.
Yeah, he really has come in here and turned it upside down. They were 1-10 the year before he came in. Turned it right around to 7-4 the next year. He's got his kids toeing the line.
Chris Kelly's kickoff comes down to Antonio Brown. And Brown gets to the outside, has a lane to midfield. Does he stay in bounds? No, he does not. But great field position to start the game. The kicker, Chris Kelly, was able to bump him out. And that gives, after a 37-yard kickoff return, Central Michigan field position at midfield.
Yeah, and you're going to see this hole open up here on the right side. Right there, look at how big that thing is. Brown makes the outside cut. He's just got the kicker to beat. And if it wasn't for the little shoestring tackle, the Chippewas would have started with a big kickoff return for a touchdown. As it is, in pretty good field position.
You can't ask for much better for Dan Lefevre, who was 11-1 as a starter in the MAC. Only a sophomore. And a quick hitch to the outside on first down. About a 5-yard gain. It'll be 2nd down and 5. Central Michigan at 5-4, undefeated so far in the MAC. Tackle on the play made by London Fryer.
Dan Lefevre, you see they run that no-huddle offense. There's different tempos, and then they'll look over to the sideline and see if the coaches want to change the play based on the Western Michigan alignment.
Twin wide receivers right on top of each other on either side of the field, and Lefevre starts off the game 2 for 2. Justin Gardner is a couple of yards shy of a first down. Brant Nemeth made the stop. And there's London Fryer, who, of course, is the son of Irving Fryer. He actually came to Central Michigan, or rather Western Michigan, as a wide receiver. And one day in a team meeting, without his permission, he was told, you know, son, you're going to go to cornerback. He called up the coach who was on a recruiting trip. Said, hey, you never told me.
Yeah, they were in a meeting naming off all the guys on offense, and his name wasn't mentioned. And they said, oh, yeah, you're on defense now.
3rd and 3, and a break up on the far side by Fryer. Jumped over the top of Brian Anderson. It'll be 4th and 3.
And this is a key matchup that we're going to track throughout the game. Anderson on Fryer on the backside. You see Anderson, he didn't really sell that he was going down the field very much. He tried to hitch it up right past the yard to gain, and Fryer just broke on it, came up, and made the big play.
So the Chippewas unable to capitalize on a great kickoff return. Field position at midfield, and then they go 3 downs and out.
Interesting punt formation. You got the 3 guys right down here at the end. They're obviously going to try and kick it into that coverage.
Tony McCulloch gets off a wobbly kick. And Schneider Julian calls for and makes a fair catch at the 17-yard line. As we take a look now at the starting lineups, the offense for Western Michigan, and our own John Saunders, an alum, helps us out.
The Broncos offense is in great hands with junior wide receiver Jamarco Simmons and tight end Brandon Ledbetter. They've combined for 10 touchdowns. Up front, the offensive line is anchored by Outland candidate senior Robbie Crutilla.
And from these formations, you're starting to get an idea as to what type of game we're in store for tonight as the Broncos go empty on first down. Hiller to the outside, a diving attempt by Herb Martin. And it falls short, incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Now, Tim Hiller, who grew up in suburban Cleveland and told us that his idol is John Elway. Now, how does that work? You can't grow up in Browns territory.
he was born after all those failings in Denver doing the damage to the Browns, the drive.
He told us he was 3 years old when Ernest Biner was fumbling the ball. Brandon West turns the corner. Very close to a first down. About 1.5 yards shy. Here's the Central Michigan defense with one of their basketball alums, Thunder Dan Marley.
And now for the Chippewas defense, anchored by senior defensive tackle Stephen I am not your friend. Linebackers Ike Brown and Red Keith, who will turn you black and blue. And a secondary anchored by Josh Gordy. Fire up, Chip.
How about Thunder Dan?
Last week against Eastern Michigan, Western was 2 for 10 on 3rd down. 3rd and short here. They need to squeeze across the 28 to pick up a first down. Mark Bonds on the carry. And the extra effort gets a new set of downs for the Broncos.
Yeah, and Western Michigan has not had a lot of success in their initial drive all season long, have yet to score a touchdown, and they're just one of 7 teams, as you see right here in the Football Bowl subdivision, that haven't scored. And no field goals, no touchdowns, nothing. But so far, this drive looks pretty good. They're getting it on the ground.
Bond stays in the game as the setback to the right of Hiller. 3 wide receivers, and Hiller down the field to Jamarco Simmons. That is his go-to man, and it's a first down to midfield, a gain of 18.
Well, and the safety for Central Michigan, I don't know if he was expecting a long bomb or what, but he was 20, 25 yards down the field. The underneath coverage comes from Red Keith, the inside linebacker. There's no way he's got to cover that corner route, so the safety back there has got to come up and get closer to that and make a play. That's number 20, Calvin Hissong, who gave Jamarco Simmons way too much respect.
Couple of tight ends now on first down. A team that went empty from their own 12-yard line now with 2 tight ends at midfield and play action for Hiller. Simmons was open. Hiller instead tucks it under and gets waffled at about the 44-yard line of Central. Red Keith, who is a hit machine in that linebacking core, came up to make the stop.
I like this drive. Bill Cubitt down there calls his own plays. He's his own offensive coordinator. And so far, so good for this play selection. Hiller, not really known as a runner, got slammed by Red Keith, lost the football, but was able to come back up with it.
A gain of 6 on first down, so it's 2nd down and 4. A short 4, closer to 2nd and 3. And a trap handoff. To the outside, it's a pitch to Brandon West. Inside the 30, knocked out at the 27.
Another great call by Bill Cubitt, because there's nobody left for the pitch man in the option. He gets run off. Watch this. He's going to get run off, and so this guy who normally would come up and take the pitch, there's nobody there. You're going to have quarterback here, but nobody left for the pitch. So Bill Cubitt saw something on film in terms of that formation, running that into the boundary, and it worked out well for him.
Hiller might be changing the play at the line. Plenty of time on the play clock. It's down to 7.
Yeah, he does a lot of that, Bob. Very intricate offense.
A quick out, making a move and getting loose. Jordan White. It's another first down for Western Michigan. Red Keith tripped him up inside the 15.
And this just a quick out, quick passing game. You see the cushion that Chaz West is giving, the respect that they're giving these receivers from Western Michigan, and Bill Cubitt is taking advantage of it. He'll say, hey, we'll throw it 6-7 yards in front of you all day long, Central's going to have to change that. They're going to have to counter and come up and press some people.
3 tight ends all set left with Bonds. Blockers out in front. And he is stood up at about the 13-yard line. Gang tackled. No gain on first down. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Central can pick up, rather Western can pick up a first down inside the 2.
Ronnie Ekdahl made the play, but it was Stephen Friend with the penetration that really helped stop that one.
There's Red Keefe. Tim Banks, the defensive coordinator, told us that he's not one of those players at linebacker that likes football. He needs football, and that lends to an unbelievable work ethic. Hiller sets up the screen, far side, has his tight end, Ledbetter, hurdles his way inside the 5. And he's ruled out of bounds at the 4, about 1.5 yards shy of a first down. Sets up a big 3rd down on this first drive for the Broncos.
And this is the oh-no screen. And you're going to see everybody from Central Michigan coming this way. Go ahead and run it for the fake. See the counter OT fake? And then they set it up on the backside, and he's got a bevy of blockers. And if it wasn't for the hustle and play of Chaz West to make this tackle, he had an escort into the end zone. Right here at the end, West makes the good tackle. But again, Bill Cubitt, outstanding play calling in this initial drive for the Broncos.
10th play of this opening drive. 3rd down and 1. Bonds up the middle. Into the end zone for the touchdown. What a start for Western Michigan.
Give all the credit in the world to Bill Cubitt in the play calling on this deal. Give Bonds a little credit for getting it in there. And then Tim Hiller also did an outstanding job of managing the offense. It's a very complicated offense, and that's one of the things Bill Cubitt knows is driving him crazy, is all the extra work that he's been having to do with his quarterback to get him right. But he got him right on that drive.
Mike Jones' extra point is perfect. Well, if you want to play spoiler to an undefeated team in your conference, you start with the first score you've had in an opening drive this season, and it was a 10-play, 82-yard march. Western Michigan takes the early lead.
Super handling all-wheel drive. It's the most thrilling way to carve a corner. And it's only from Acura. Acura. It bets.
See your Acura dealer for attractive lease rates on 2008 Acura models for well-qualified customers.
Now on DVD.
Where'd this come from? The power. Or you lose yourself to it.
The most action-packed movie of the summer is now the must-have DVD of the year.
Who are you?
Complete your collection with Spider-Man 3. Now on DVD and Blu-ray High Def.
With Dell and Windows Vista Ultimate, you can organize your digital music, movies, and photos, and record and watch your favorite HD TV shows. The new Dell XPS M1330, designed for performance with Windows Vista Ultimate. Dell, yours is here.
Honey, what do you say we invite my parents to visit for the holidays?
Yes!
Great. Maybe we can fix up the house some.
All right!
Yeah, a new vanity in the guest bathroom, a new chandelier, new area rug, and maybe we can paint the walls a nice ochre.
Oh, come on!
Okay, it doesn't have to be ochre.
This year, you can create a warmer, more inviting home for your holiday guests. Get started now at the Home Depot.
Going to Home Depot.
Go, 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 go!
Tim Hiller on the phone, and I'm sure the message from upstairs is, nice job. What else could they be telling him?
Yeah, very nice job. I'm sure they're making some adjustments and from some things that they saw but that's an outstanding drive orchestrated by Tim Hiller, called by Bill Cubitt, and the Central Michigan Chippewas didn't know what would hit them. They didn't know what was going on, and they need to figure something out in a hurry.
What a great atmosphere. Mike Jones set to kick off, and Antonio Brown is the deep man. And he is a dangerous return man as well. A great kickoff, though, that chases him into the corner. Can they pin him up against the sidelines, or will he get loose? Oh, he just about got free at the 28. Tripped up by C.J. Wilson. As we check our TiVo combos to watch, we've got two great all-around offensive players.
Yeah, we really do. Antonio Brown, we just saw him almost break that kickoff. And then Brandon West, who you see the numbers there, ranked 11th in the NCAA in total yards per game. So we're going to track these guys throughout, but here's your TiVo combo to watch.
And once again, Lefevre lines up in the shotgun with 4 wide receivers. Hoskins, the lone setback. He takes the handoff and gets strung out. He lost about 4 yards as we check the Central Michigan offense again with Dan Marlin.
Now for the Fighting Chippewas on offense. Starting at quarterback, Dan, you better call the Dr. Lefevre, who throws to 2 very talented wide receivers, Antonio Brown and Brian Anderson. The offensive line is anchored by Eric Tooney and Greg Roy, who combined have started for 44 games.
Well, unfortunately for Central Michigan, the offensive line didn't get the job done on that play. And now Lefevre puts it up into traffic, intercepted. Anthony Gebhardt jumped the route, and Western Michigan with a 7-0 lead has it in plus territory.
And this is a great play by Gebhardt. He's right here. He's going to drop to the flat and then turn back inside with the receiver to basically run the route with him. Watch him step inside. He knows from film watching that Central Michigan loves those inside routes down about 10 to 15 yards down the field. He comes off of his man, gets underneath it, reads the quarterback, comes up with a huge play for the Broncos.
The 3rd career interception for Gebhardt, the 2nd time he has picked the ball off against Central. And Hiller looks for the big play after the turnover. Flag comes out late. DeMarco Simmons was bumped. And it looks like it'll be a pass interference penalty against Ike Brown, the linebacker, who was all the way down trying to stay with DeMarco Simmons.
Yeah, and you don't want to have that matchup if you can avoid it. Having a linebacker, even though Ike Brown's pretty good at it, you don't want him covering DeMarco Simmons, especially on a wheel route.
Pass interfered. Defense, number 6, penalized 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
We'll take another look at that ourselves here, and you can see right at the end, Ike Brown never got turned around, and he put his hands on Simmons, and they're going to call you on that every time. But in Brown's defense, that's a pretty tough mismatch there, having him try to cover the top receiver.
As a linebacker, should he be expecting a ball call from someone in the secondary to let him know the ball's on the way as West
It's a good
gets
theory.
loose for a couple of yards? It's a good theory.
Yeah, I think with the screaming fans and everything, the thing you look for that guy's hands to come up and his eyes to get big. That's your ball call. Ball calls work great in practice, not so much in games.
It's 7-on-7.
Yeah. Butch Jones getting heated up over there on the sideline. This thing did not start how he wanted it to, and he's letting the officials know.
And I think he just got flagged for it. Either a bench warning just to back up, or he actually is going to pick up.
Warning. First sideline warning, Central Michigan.
When the flag originally came out, I thought he picked up a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty from the bench.
Well, that's Dennis Jackson, the field judge over there, that Butch Jones is going after pretty heatedly at this point. And he's probably trying to set a tone for his football team is what he's doing.
Well, the tone so far has been set by Western. They're back in the red zone already with a 7-0 lead, trying to capitalize on the turnover. 2nd down and 6. The handoff to Thompson. very close to a first down, a gain of 5.
And so far, so good. Everything Western is trying is working for them, and they've got this Central Michigan defense on its heels. And they're using a nice mix of a lot of different formations, Bob, a lot of different personnel groups, and right now Central Michigan's just one step behind.
Since 1990, the road team in this rivalry has won twice, and there's a reason for that. And you can tell already on 3rd down and 1, Bonds goes wide, hit hard, but he looks to have the first down. Ike Brown came up and stuck him at about the 12-yard line. But Western moves the chains. As we take a look at the series history between these two all-time, this is a series history that goes back 100 years. Western Michigan leads by 10 games. But since 1990, the home team, and we are in Western Michigan's building, is 15-2.
Yeah, and that kind of speaks to the rivalry in terms of protecting your own turf. And that both these teams have done a great job of doing that over the years.
Looks like Hiller may have checked off at the line once again. First down, a quick wide receiver hitch. They get it to Simmons. He's inside the 10. Out of bounds at about the 8. Red Keith came over to make the stop. Calvin Hissong as well, and now flags come flying out.
And there you go. They're chirping at each other. And we'll see who they want to call this one on. But that's just part of the rivalry, the intensity down there on the football field. The extracurricular type stuff that'll go on, the jawing, the talking, all that stuff is a part of this deal. Looks like they got Western Michigan on it.
And an ejection. Who got tossed?
Dead ball. Personal foul. On the offense, number 27. Kicking a player. He is ejected from the game.
Wow. Jamarco Simmons is the offensive weapon for Western Michigan. And not only does he get flagged for 15 yards, he's done for the night.
That's going to hurt him. And watch what he does at the end. Red Keith has got his foot kind of caught up on him, and he kicks Red Keith. And the official saw that and said, we don't allow that, and you're out of here. And that's a big blow to Western Michigan to have their top offensive player thrown out of the ball game. And you can see Bill Cubit is just livid over it.
Well, let's go down to Todd Harris.
Bob, happened right in front of me, and I got to agree with what Ray is saying right there. Red Keith was holding on his leg. Now, I don't think it was malicious. He was just kind of gradually taking a little time, holding on his leg, and Jamarco Simmons took exception to it and finally just said, you know, get off me. He wasn't trying to kick him per se. He was trying to free his foot up, but unfortunately, it happened right in front of the officials. Now, watch this. He's just trying to get his foot loose, and a little bit of selling right there by Red Keith, and out come the flag. So that is a huge blow to them, as you said, one of their biggest offensive players.
Yeah, Todd, there might not be a lot of folks around the country that are familiar with these teams. Just keep in mind, Jamarco Simmons came into tonight leading Western Michigan with 75 receptions. No other player on their team has more than 28 coming into this game. And a bobble, and the ball loose. Is that a fumble or an incompletion? They rule it, and I think correctly so, an incompletion out of the hands of Jordan White.
Boy, Ike Brown had a huge hit on that one as things start to settle down a little bit. But check this out. Just a dump over the middle. Tight end misses it. White kind of bobbles it, and that set it up for Ike Brown to come in there and lay the lumber. That's what you call a rivalry hit right there.
So Jamarco Simmons has been ejected. Now, he's the Jerry Rice of this offense. I don't know that you can overblow the importance. And he is still beside himself on the sideline. And he's creating such a distraction on the Western sideline. He had to be contained by a couple of players and a couple of coaches. He actually threw his helmet about 3 yards out onto the field. I think Bill Cubit may have called a timeout just to get things settled down. Emotions are at possibly the highest pitch for either of these teams all season. 7-0, Western with the early lead.
Super handling all-wheel drive.
See your Acura dealer for attractive lease rates on 2008 Acura models for well-qualified customers.
Think it's time I told my little bro my rules to live by.
Rules.
Chuck?
Always, always get chili on your nachos Bel Grande.
A Taco Bell classic, now topped with chili. New chili cheese nachos Bel Grande, only at Taco Bell.
I'm comfortable going fast. I'm comfortable in Wrangler.
Introducing Relaxed Straight Leg and Relaxed Boot Fit from Wrangler Jeans Company. Wrangler Jeans Company. New fits, new styles, great comfort.
Introducing a world first. Braun Pulsonic. Powered by unique sonic pulses, over 10,000 microvibrations help expose and shave more hair with every stroke. For Braun's most thorough shave ever. The new Braun Pulsonic, powered by unique sonic pulses. Voted best electric shave ever. Braun Pulsonic. It's the perfect gift.
It's invisible. You can't see it. You can't touch it. But every day it touches the whole world. Energy. And every day, even though you don't see our name or logo, the energy we create is right there. In innovative ways, helping 2/3 of the Fortune 100 and businesses across North America make your world work better. Constellation Energy. Taking energy a step further.
ESPN College Football Primetime, brought to you by Acura, Advance, and Taco Bell. Think outside the box.
The Western Michigan Broncos and their head coach Bill Cubit still, while we were away, giving an earful to the officials after Jamarco Simmons, their best offensive player and certainly their best all-around weapon, sent back to the locker room as he was ejected for kicking Red Keith, the weak side linebacker. And on 3rd down and long, a handoff to Brandon West to set up the field goal. But before Bill Cubit got into the face of the officials, he got into the face of Jamarco Simmons, because Simmons simply could not be contained on the sideline. And I'm not sure, Ray, if the rule is after you are ejected that you must be taken to the locker room, but I think this was a decision that was made on the Western sideline to take him to the locker room.
He was a huge distraction over there. He hasn't been able to calm himself down and get over the disappointment of being thrown out of the biggest game of his life. At least I know that's kind of how he was looking at it.
And then a fumbled, muffed snap on a field goal attempt, and Mike Jones, the kicker, is run down back at the 23-yard line. So the interception, after all of that drama, not only does Western Michigan not come away with points, but during that sequence, their best players kicked out of the game.
Yeah, that's not good for him right there, as Jim Laney is the holder and Tom Harrington is the long snapper. And check this out. It's going to be down. That's just a perfect snap right there. That's all on Jim Laney not being able to handle the football. Now, it's cold out there. You got to make sure you keep your hands warm so you can make that play, but that could be costly as the Broncos miss out on a chance for 3 more points.
Well, they barely even win back field position as Lefevre throws on the run. And whipping on the hit was E.J. Biggers. Brian Anderson gets out across the 30, but with more on Simmons going back to the locker room. Here's Todd.
Bob, I just spoke with a member of the officiating crew. He told me by rule that player does not have to leave the field. As long as he stays in the player's box, he can stay here. But Ray makes a great point. He was so beside himself, he could not be consoled. He was getting in all the coaches' faces. He couldn't be restrained, and so they have taken him to the locker room with a police escort.
All right, Todd, thanks very much. Hoskins grinds his way for a first down to the near side. And Ray, looking at it even from as far away as we are from their bench, I think that was the right decision, don't you?
Yeah, you had to get him out of there. I mean, the game still has to go on. And sometimes you see that something like this happening, and it can inspire a football team. Western knows that they lost their top gun, but hey, other guys realize they get an opportunity now, and they can get it going after that. But they had to get him out of there just to calm the situation down.
Again, the handoff to Hoskins, and he is hit hard by Boston McCornell. McCornell got there first after a gain of 2, and he was joined by a few of his teammates. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
Yeah, Boston McCornell is a pretty good linebacker, a physical specimen at 6'1", 233 pounds. He was supposed to go to LSU on scholarship, but he failed the class, and Western Michigan ended up picking him up. It was a great pickup for them.
Downfield goes Lefevre. A jump ball down the sideline, knocked away. Great coverage by E.J. Biggers. We never even had a chance to introduce this Western Michigan defense. Again, here's our man, John Saunders.
The defensive line for the Broncos is led by the team's leading sack man, defensive end Greg Marshall. At linebacker, Dustin Duclos and Boston McCornell have combined for 140 tackles this season. And in the secondary, a man who always has his nose for the football, safety Louis Delmas. Go Broncos.
Empty set on 3rd down and 8. Under pressure. Lefevre, and he goes down. Zach Davidson. That's his 13th career sack. He leads the team as well in tackles for loss. And that forces the punting unit to come out.
Yeah, and it's just a bull rush. You're going to see him right over here, and he's just going to bull rush Andrew Hartline, who many think might be the top offensive lineman in the Mid-American Conference. But Dan Lefevre didn't help his left tackle out as he escaped right into the hands of Zach Davidson.
That's the first sack that Central Michigan has allowed in about 17 quarters. That's only the 10th sack they've allowed all year.
Yeah, they haven't allowed a sack since back in September, 4th quarter against Northern Illinois. They give one up here on a critical 3rd down.
Seems like everyone in college football has their own way of lining up to punt it away, isn't it? Schneider-Julian on the return. A couple of yards out across the 40 to the 41, and the crowd on the near side right behind the central bench was looking for a flag to be thrown as Julian was bumped when he was out of bounds. Marcel Archer forced him out.
And the fans are kind of tying into this rivalry, trying to get their Broncos going. They're upset that their top guy, Simmons, got thrown out of the game. They want someone from Central to get thrown out of the game.
4 minutes and 40 seconds to go in what has already been an action-packed first quarter. Western with a 7-0 lead.
Super handling all-wheel drive. It's the most thrilling way to carve a corner. And it's only from Acura. Acura. Advance.
See your Acura dealer for attractive lease rates on 2008 Acura models for well-qualified customers.
With only 2 races to decide it all, NASCAR's one-on-one duel is coming down to the wire.
Jimmy Johnson has driven the wheels off his Chevy.
The defending Cup champ recaptured the points lead at Texas and is on the brink of back-to-back titles. Now, the pressure is on as Jeff Gordon looks to strike back in his drive for a 5th NASCAR crown. The chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup continues Sunday at 3 on ABC. And catch the NASCAR Busch Series Saturday at 4 on ESPN2.
ESPN Monday Night Football, Mondays 8:30 Eastern.
ESPN, serving sports fans around the world.
Jimmy John's, America's #1 sandwich delivery. To find a so fast you'll freak Jimmy John's near you, visit jimmyjohns.com.
Jimmy John's, America's #1 sandwich delivery. Fast and speak. I'm on my way. Jimmy John's, America's #1 sandwich delivery. Freaky fast, freaky good.
We've had a little bit of everything through the first 10 minutes of this football game. 4:40 to go in the first quarter. Western Michigan and Central Michigan. And Western back to the offense. Filler a high throw, and Red Keith comes up and lays the wood to Brandon West.
Boy, and that Red Keith is a fired-up football player right now. And I tell you what, he's one of my favorite guys. I've gotten to know Red a little bit, and he's a touching story. But watch him come up and, bam, make a hit there out on the perimeter and get everybody excited. But Red, his mother Vicky actually named him Red, he said, because he was a chubby little redskin baby. And it stuck with him, and it's been with him since, and he's already got 5 tackles tonight.
The fact that he's your favorite have anything to do with the fact that you're his idol, or at least so he says?
Yeah, that probably adds to it a little bit.
Mark Bonds with the run. Again, Red Keith in on the tackle along with Stephen Friend. And Red Keith, who is closing in on the tackle leadership all time at Central Michigan, told us that Ray Bentley is my idol. My goal is to eclipse his records. And there's our man right in the middle. What I think I like the best is the little mustache. Look like a little,
it was the 70s.
Little 70s fuzz in the middle. Oh, boy, that is just an embarrassing shot there.
I just flew into the stadium on picture day. But, you know, I hope Red gets my record. I think he deserves it.
We're all rooting for him, too.
I will add, however, it took him 4 years. I did it 3, but that's another story.
3rd and 8. West to the open field. And he's going nowhere. Tracked down by Eric Frazier. And here comes the punting unit.
And the Chippewas have kind of settled down on defense now. They're starting to make tackles in the open field. And that's been really the big problem for them. You know, that early drive by Western Michigan, they weren't in position to make the tackles. They've done so, made some adjustments on defense, and forced a 3-and-out here.
Jim Laney, one of the best punters in the nation, on the Ray Guy watch list. The last 3 consecutive years, a wobbly kick that will bounce in front of Antonio Brown and take a Western Michigan bounce down to about the 11-yard line. A 45-yard punt and no return. And Steve Slayton, Pat White, and the West Virginia Mountaineers can capture the Big East title in a BCS berth by winning the rest of their games. Well, Thursday night, Brian Brom and the Cardinals visit Morgantown. College football primetime presented by Applebee's on ESPN. Thursday night at 7:30 Eastern. College football lives here. And remember, coming up on Saturday, November 17th, West Virginia plays at UConn. Now, if I would have told you at the start of the year that West Virginia at UConn would be maybe the big game in the Big East the whole year, what would you have said?
I'd have laughed at you. I'm still laughing at you.
Lefevre tracks up the middle, and Western Michigan stands up Ontario Sneed. A gain of a yard.
And that's Duclos making the tackle, and he's a good story, too. He was a walk-on in this program and was largely ignored by the previous staff here. And then the new staff came in, he said, hey, this is my chance. And he went out in spring ball and made plays. And there's, you know, he's in the meeting with Coach Cubitt saying, he's making plays. We got to move him up. The other coaches were, Coach, he's a walk-on. He's 3rd string. He says he's making plays. Move him up. And he's been in there since.
2nd down and 9. A catch out to about the 19-yard line for Brian Anderson. London Fryer made the stop. 7-yard gain. About a yard and a half shy of a first down.
And we spoke to London Fryer about covering Anderson, and he said, you know, this is going to be a great challenge for me because he's a great receiver out there. And that's going to be a huge deal in this ball game, is which of the two can win that matchup.
3rd down and 2. A 4-man rush. Lefevre well protected. Throws it high. Oh, and right through the hands intended for Brian Anderson. A chance for Louis Delmas for an interception, and there was a flag thrown in the secondary as well. This will be pass interference, though, against Western.
Delmas, that one went right through his hands. You're right, but Central Michigan loves the in cuts. And so far, Western Michigan has taken note of that, and they've been in position.
Defense, number 43. 1st down at the spot of the foul.
And that's the linebacker, McCornell, dropping back in coverage, and he got there a little early. You can see him. Here he is right here. He's going to turn with Anderson and get the hands on him too quick. See that push right there? The ball was in the air. So not much, but enough to be called.
Well, Bill Cubitt sees another 15-yard penalty called against his team. He's watched his best offensive player get booted here in the opening quarter. A screen set up to Antonio Brown. Breaks a tackle and gets out to about the 37-yard line. 3 yards shy of a first down. Anthony Gebhardt made the stop. And this is a secondary coming into the season, Ray, that was touted as the secondary in this conference. And one of the best secondaries in the country. Last year they led the nation with 22 interceptions, but tonight they came into this game with only 7 collective picks and no one in the secondary with more than 1.
Yeah, that's been a kind of a question mark for them. Coming in, they thought that was a strength, but things have not worked out. Delmas got injured early in the year, and it kind of threw a wrench into everything for about 4 games.
Lefevre to the outside. Anderson makes the catch. Good for a first down for Central Michigan.
Boy, and that's just precision on offense. As Lefevre actually threw that football before Anderson went into his break. So the timing is what is important, and it was immaculate on this. Watch here the matchup here. Anderson working on Fryer, and you see the break, and the ball's right there when he comes out of it. Fryer had no chance.
First and 10 inside of the final 30 seconds of the opening quarter. A keeper, and Lefevre can run. Picks up about 8, maybe 9 yards on that play. And how often do you have a quarterback that has a couple of 100-yard rushing games?
Yeah, he's outstanding in terms of his ability to run. And not only does he run on designed plays like that, Bob, but he's also very adept at knowing when to pull it down in a passing play and get some scramble yards. And that's going to be key in this game if Western Michigan can keep him from being able to be successful doing that.
To start the second quarter, it will be Central Michigan continuing their march, trying to equal the touchdown on the board from Western in the biggest game of the year in the MAC.
Saturday at 8 Eastern on ABC, Kansas, Oklahoma State, or other regional action.
I think it's time I told my little bro my rules to live by.
Rules. Chuck, always get chili on your nachos Bel Grande.
A Taco Bell classic, now topped with chili. New chili cheese nachos Bel Grande, only at Taco Bell. One man will master time to become the ultimate weapon. Time Shift, available now, rated mature.
240 miles above the Earth, when IMAX needed to power their camera, they trusted Duracell. And if you think advanced technology is only for outer space, consider this. Down here, now you can take up to 5,000 pictures over the life of 2 batteries. New Duracell rechargeable. Recharge in just 15 minutes. They're rechargeables reinvented. So whether it's some amazing shots today, or you're gazing a little further into the future, it just has to work. Duracell, trusted everywhere.
The Boston Red Sox have won the World Series title. Celebrate with Sports Illustrated's exclusive championship package, including the official 2007 World Series DVD and SI's limited edition hardcover commemorative book. Relive the Red Sox postseason heroics with these 2 great gifts featuring amazing MLB Productions video and SI's incredible writing and photography. Go to SITVoffer.com or call now to get both free with your paid subscription. 56 issues for only $1.75 an issue. Save over 55% off the cover price. Use your credit card and you'll also get this set of free officially licensed championship baseballs, honoring each step of the Red Sox postseason run. This exclusive set comes with special display stands. Go to SITVoffer.com or call now to get the official DVD, the SI commemorative book, and the collectible baseball set. This limited championship package is only available from Sports Illustrated. Call or go online now.
Excuse me, Chris, got some signs for you to look at? Nope, seen it before. Never gonna happen? Let me see that one real quick. Sure. Yeah. Why don't you knock off a little bit early for lunch, okay?
Do you know Game Day? Go to collegegameday.com to find out. ESPN College Game Day, built by the Home Depot, Saturdays at 10 a.m.
Western Michigan with the early 7-0 lead set for the start of the second quarter. And we actually have a guest on the line that we are honored to bring into our program tonight that's also happy to hear the score at 7-0 Western. A native of Detroit, Michigan, but more importantly, Captain Todd Zekin is the commander of the USS Kitty Hawk, the oldest active duty warship in the Navy, an aircraft carrier with a crew of over 5,000 that is being brought back to San Diego and finally retired. Captain Zekin, thank you so much for joining us. We very much appreciate your time.
It's my pleasure to be able to join the crowd and the team back there in Kalamazoo today, and it's great news to hear that 7-0. So just keep.
Hey, Todd, do you get a chance to keep track of your Broncos over the years?
Well, actually, on the ship, we get ESPN out here. Even though we're far, far away from you right now, watching sports is probably one of the #1 priorities of the 5,000 people on the crew. And so anytime we get the opportunity to keep up with our favorite teams, we certainly take a delight in that. Obviously, there's some natural ingrained rivalries out here amongst the 5,000 of us, but nonetheless, it's a great opportunity, and we certainly enjoy following the team.
Flag down on the catch made by Antonio Brown as we continue with Captain Todd Zekin of the Kitty Hawk, halfway around the world near Japan, fighting the war on terror. And Captain Zekin, you know, when you're in that position as a commander, and I don't know, maybe you end up with bunkmates that one's from Auburn, one's from Alabama, or one's from Michigan, one's from Ohio State. I mean, does that ever cross your bow, so to speak?
No pun intended, but it crosses our bow all the time. In fact, generally speaking, we have a pretty healthy and it raises some interesting discussions around the mess tables in the evenings and the afternoons, and especially on Sunday mornings and Monday mornings when we can watch the games that are played the night before for you, the day ahead of us for us.
And do you have any favorite memories of the Central Michigan, Western Michigan rivalry from your days here?
Yeah, 1976. I remember we beat them soundly. And those are always good memories. Those were great games. And anytime you can put the Chippewas down, it's always a positive.
Do you remember 1979 and 1980? Do you remember those, Todd?
I do. I remember, well, 1979. I graduated in 80, but I remember the 79 time.
Yeah, Ray Bentley has special memories from those days playing against your squad as a member of Central Michigan. So he was the guy that you were booing, and I'm glad to now be standing next to him.
But we're always willing to recognize. We're always willing to recognize an opponent, even if he's just okay.
Well, Captain Zekin, final question before we let you go. If you could tell us what it's like to be the commander of that aircraft carrier in its final days, and what the plans are for the Kitty Hawk as you bring it home and, I guess, turn it into a monument to its career in the Navy.
Well, it's a joy. It kind of fills you with a great deal of delight to watch these 5,000 young Americans out here on a daily basis. We really are a small city with our own airport on the roof as we sail around the high seas. And quite frankly, it's emotional. We'll be bringing the ship back to the United States next year after almost 50 years of commissioned service. Now, we are only one of 11 aircraft carriers in the world like this. So when we bring her back and decommission her next year, it'll be a very moving experience for both the current crew, but primarily for the past crew members who have served aboard this warship. So.
Well, it was our honor to spend some time with you, and please pass along all our best to all of your sailors. And on behalf of all of us at ESPN, and I'm sure everyone watching, thank them for us, and we thank you for your time.
And thank you very much, all, and go Broncos.
All right.
All right, thanks, Todd.
Captain Todd Zekin. He said go Broncos, and a little shiver went up the spine of Ray Bentley.
Not a bit, man. This is a good football game, I'm telling you right now. Back and forth. This is everything I'd hoped for here, Bob.
And the Broncos hold. And a midfield punt now. Schneider Julian is back deep for Western Michigan, calls for a fair catch, and makes it about the 11-yard line. Just under 2 minutes gone by in the second quarter, and Western Michigan more than holding their own with the MAC undefeated Central Michigan Chippewas so far. Western with the 7-0 lead.
Yeah, Monster, how may I help you, Mr. Gordon?
I just got my first diagnostic email. It's unbelievable.
I'm glad you're impressed. We can access hundreds of diagnostic checks.
Impressed? You know how much I pay my team for this kind of information?
Your back left tire is 3 pounds too low. And your Chevy Trailblazer's oil life is 16%.
How'd you know that?
Your OnStar Diagnostics email. You left in the printer.
You don't have to be a star to get the OnStar treatment.
OnStar, active.
Standard on 11 Chevy models.
Mom, Dad, you gotta come see.
It came without warning.
Something in the mist. Shut the door.
A mystery without answers.
It's not supernatural.
Nobody was hurt yourself? What's that?
From the legendary tale by Stephen King.
Tie this around your waist to let us know you got at least 300 feet.
Discover the secret.
Who knows how far this mist has spread?
Could be the whole world.
Of what lies behind.
Daddy, there are things out there.
I'm gonna take you home.
Oh, my God.
Mist, directed by Frank Darabont. Rated
do the right thing. They call it being responsible. When it's a car insurance company, they call it Liberty Mutual. Responsibility. What's your policy? Liberty Mutual.
This holiday season, give the gift of Sprint Speed with a phone that lets you send pictures at the speed of light.
Bob Wischusen, Ray Bentley, and Todd Harris back here in Kalamazoo. College football primetime. And Western Michigan with a 7-0 lead over Central Michigan. And the Western Broncos have the football back at their own 11-yard line. To the ground they go. And Mark Bonds, and he has a few yards out across the 16-yard line as we check our KFC game track.
Well, it started out with Mark Bonds getting the touchdown after Western's smart drive down the field, and then they come back and intercept it right away. Gebhardt got it, and they were driving, and then Jamarco Simmons kicks Red Keith, and the flag goes out, and he gets ejected and gets escorted to the locker room as he was just being a huge distraction on the sideline, and since then it's turned into a punting match.
Again to the ground out of the spread set. Lennis Thompson up the middle, and he's very close to a first down. Rob Johnson, the left tackle, with a good block to spring Thompson, and that will be good for a Western first down. And again, to reiterate, the ejection of Jamarco Simmons, Ray, and the impact on this Western offense. He is their big weapon.
Yeah, I mean, you said it earlier, about 75 catches coming in. Nobody else on his team has 30. So that's your offense, at least your passing offense. To lose him, somebody else is going to have to step up.
They run the option. West takes the pitch and can't escape Ike Brown.
Yeah, and Central Michigan got this fixed. We saw this play earlier in the game, and there was nobody available to take the pitch man. But now they're going to take the pitch with the linebacker and let that defensive end take quarterback, and they've got it figured out. You see that right there? You take quarterback with the defensive end, linebackers got the pitch, and they've got it covered. Earlier in the game, they didn't have that worked out, and Western gashed them nicely.
After a loss on first down, it's second down and 12. And this time Hiller will put it up. Checks down to the near side of Jordan White, and he slips his way out to about the 29-yard line. A gain of 8. It'll be third down and 4, and NASCAR coverage continues this week in Phoenix. The NASCAR Busch Series at Phoenix on ESPN2 Saturday at 4 Eastern, and the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series at Phoenix on ABC Sunday at 3 Eastern. For more information, you can always log on to ESPN.com.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson battling Jeff Gordon there. Teammates going after each other.
And didn't I see Jimmy Johnson winning a race and donating the entire check?
I don't know if I saw that.
Oh, what a great move it was by him. A high pass couldn't be hauled in by White. It'll be fourth down. Eric Frazier made the hit for the Chippewas.
Yeah, that's Frazier came up and kind of made a play at the end of it, but I think that one probably should have been caught. Hiller a little bit high with it, but not that bad. But this is the kind of game where those plays will make a difference. And take a look at the end of it right here. That ball should be caught. I don't know that Frazier ripped it out. It's just a drop football.
Jim Laney this season has 11 punts of 50 or more yards. Western could use one here, and this one will bounce in front of Brown. A dangerous play to go down right in the face of a defender and try and pick it up. E.J. Biggers downfield to make the stop. A 39-yard punt. And pretty good field position for the Chippewas at their own 29-yard line when we return to Kalamazoo.
OnStar, how can I help you?
This is Tiger Woods. I am locked out of my car. It is raining, and I'd rather not use this 9-iron.
I can unlock your enclave from here.
OnStar can do that?
Here you go. You know what? You're late every single time. I'm hanging up.
GM OnStar, how can I help you?
Hi, I need directions to the nearest florist immediately.
You don't have to be a star to get the OnStar treatment.
OnStar Active.
Standard on all Buick models.
Every hero has a choice. Yours is which 3 toppings?
Papa John's Super Hero XL 3 Pizza. An extra large with any 3 toppings for just $12.99, including a $3 off coupon for Spider-Man 3 on DVD.
What's the difference between having fun and having none? The Midas Touch Maintenance Package. An oil change, tire rotation, and 45-point courtesy check. Just $29.95. Be safe.
Trust the Midas Touch.
Now at Maple Hill Hyundai, it's the year-end closeout. Purchase a 2007 Sonata, sunroof, all-power equipment, air, front and side airbags, and side curtains, and much more, wrapped up by America's best warranty. 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. West 2730. Now just $15,951 while supplies last. Or choose the new Accent with up to 37 miles per gallon. Nicely equipped with America's best warranty. Starting at just $12,759. Maple Hill Hyundai in Kalamazoo. On the web at maplehillauto.com. We treat you like family.
I'm gonna brand steakhouse and grill just for the fun of it. I'm gonna brand steakhouse and grill just for the fun of it.
It's all given steak this holiday season at Brand Steakhouse and Grill. With every $50 gift card purchase, you'll receive a certificate for a free 8-ounce sirloin steak dinner. Pick one up at any Brand's location. Brand Steakhouse and Grill. It's the best food in the world.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by GM's OnStar. You don't have to be a star to get the OnStar treatment. And Papa John's. Watch your favorite teams with your favorite pizza. Call or click papajohns.com.
Well, when you're here, you have to go see the Air Zoo, the Kalamazoo Aviation History Museum. And we're so happy on his tour yesterday that Ray Bentley was nice enough to bring along a camera and take some pictures for us, showing us the 10th largest non-governmental aviation museum in the United States, and brought this card back with all this great information about it.
It's a great source of pride.
Ontario Sneed to his left, and Nick Vercatapane comes up and makes the stop. A 1-yard loss on first down for the Chippewa.
And this Western Michigan defensive line is playing good football so far tonight. They've done a nice job of shutting down the run game, which is what Billy Miller, their defensive coordinator, told us was essential for them to do tonight.
So far, Dan Lefevre not off to his normal great start. 8 for 13 for 44 yards and an interception. Looking to make a big play here. A jump ball down the sideline. And too far for either London Fryer or Brian Anderson.
That's that matchup that we spoke about earlier. And you see Anderson at the top. He kind of tries to lull Fryer to sleep initially and then run past him, and Fryer wasn't buying into any of it. And Central Michigan, they've gone downfield twice so far tonight, 0 for 2 taking their shots.
Brian Anderson is at least a better complement to Antonio Brown than most of the receivers that Western would have to Jamarco Simmons. A 4-man rush. Lefevre tucks it under. Nothing there. And it will be a punt for the Chippewas as we check in with Pam Ward, a 30 at 30 Sports Center update.
All right, Bob, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell has told Tennessee Titans defensive back Adam Pac-Man Jones that he will not be reinstated and his year-long suspension will last. He is in trouble for off-field transgressions. Kurt Schilling getting a 1-year contract with the Red Sox, going to pay him $8 million. Sports Center comes your way 11 Eastern on ESPN, or you can stay current with ESPN News.
Schiller makes almost as much as Pam Ward. That's pretty good.
4th down. Again, Schneider Julian is back deep to receive the punt from Tony McCulloch. And gets hit immediately after fielding at the 25-yard line. A 43-yard punt and no return. Eric Frazier with the hit downfield. The punters have been spectacular so far tonight. Dan Lefevre still can't get his team on the board.
Every hero has a choice. Yours is which 3 toppings?
toppings. Papa John's Superhero XL3 Pizza. An extra large with any 3 toppings for just $12.99, including a $3 off coupon for Spider-Man 3 on DVD.
GM OnStar, how may I help you, Mr. Gordon?
I just got my first diagnostic email. It's unbelievable.
I'm glad you're impressed. We can access hundreds of diagnostic checks.
Impressed? You know how much I pay my team for this kind of information?
Your back left tire is 3 pounds too low. And your Chevy Trailblazer's oil life is 16%.
How'd you know that?
Your OnStar diagnostics email. You left in your printer.
You don't have to be a star to get the OnStar treatment.
OnStar, active.
Standard on 11 Chevy models.
The extreme power of Energizer Lithium, the world's longest-lasting AA battery and high-tech devices. Energizer, keep going.
It's invisible. You can't see it. You can't touch it. But every day it touches the whole world. Energy. And every day, even though you don't see our name or logo, the energy we create is right there. In innovative ways, helping 2/3 of the Fortune 100 and businesses across North America make your world work better. Constellation Energy. Taking energy a step further.
So, 12 o'clock tea time, someone rear ends us. Day shot, right? Except I just switched to Progressive Direct Online. They gave me a couple of competitive prices. I picked Progressive and saved $400 a year. And I've been trying to tell these guys I also get their concierge service. So I drop off my car, pick up a rental, and we're gone. So I save $400 and our tea time. Fantastic.
Progressive Direct. It's about you. And it's about time. Sign up online and save $50.
Here in Kalamazoo, the home of the Western Michigan Broncos at Waldo Stadium. Western Michigan at 3-6, 2-3 in the MAC, taking on Central Michigan, their arch rivals. So far undefeated in the MAC, but it's 7-0 Western. And let's go down to Todd Harris.
Well, Bob, just moments ago, we were in Japan talking with Captain Todd Zuckin on board the USS Kitty Hawk. Well, I want to introduce you to another man from Japan. This is head coach Masatoshi Isawa. He is the head coach of the Kansai University Kaisers, and he is spending the entire season with Western Michigan. He's hoping to take back some nuances of the American game of football back to Japan, where the game is really catching on. In fact, did you know there are more than 220 college football teams, American football teams, in the land of the rising sun?
Wow, 220. I did not know that, as Brandon West is shut down by Frank Zombo and Stephen Friend after a gain of a couple of yards.
Yeah, I'm a little familiar with the football in the Pacific Rim, Bob. The Arena Football League, which I have close ties with, has an international player program, and there's been a number of players coming over from Japan because they get a roster exemption. So you get another body, you get a guy running around. They haven't found a guy yet that can get on the field, but it's just a matter of years.
3rd down and 8. If Western Michigan is able to hold on to the football, it will be because they got out to at least the 37-yard line. Brandon West needs to make something happen in the open field, and he simply dives out across the 30 to about the 31, a gain of 4, but once again it will be 3 downs and out for the Broncos.
Yeah, Hiller had plenty of time to make that throw, but there was great coverage in the secondary by the Chippewas, who were in a zone, but they latched on to the men in them zones, and there was nowhere for Hiller to go. He had to dump it down, and that's kind of what he's explaining to Bill Cubitt right now. But Bill says, wait a minute, there might have been something else.
Jim Laney sets a punt. Again, it's Antonio Brown deep to receive. And this kick will wobble down inside the 40 and roll out of bounds just shy of the 35-yard line, a 33-yard punt. But again, no return, 7:26 to go before halftime. Western Michigan with a 7-0 lead. And the sophomore Dan Lefebvre about to step on the field. Now, Dan Lefebvre took over last year when at the beginning of the season, a concussion was suffered by Brian Brunner, the starting quarterback, who this year is a junior in the game against Boston College. Well, Lefebvre, totally unknown, comes off the bench as a freshman and just about beat BC in a thrilling opener for Central Michigan. It's almost like Drew Bledsoe getting hurt, and all of a sudden you go and find you got Tom Brady on the sideline as he dumps it off to Justin Hoskins, and he has a first down into Western Michigan territory.
And That's the biggest play of the night for the Chippewas, who have struggled offensively. In their 5 drives, they've punted 4 times and threw an interception. This one, they outflank the Broncos. You can see Hoskins wider than anybody, no contain from the Bronco defense, and the Chippewas move into Western Michigan territory.
A handoff up the middle to Hoskins. He's into the second level once again, cut down at the 36-yard line. Eric Tunney with a good block from his right guard spot, but a 9-yard gain for Hoskins sets up 2nd and 1.
Yeah, Colin Miller, the center, also did an excellent job up there creating a hole. The Western Michigan linebackers got caught up in the wash a little bit, and that's what created the hole for Hoskins.
Staying with the ground, Hoskins has the first down, dragging tacklers inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line.
And again, nice blocking up front by the Chippewas. They got it from Miller again, and J.J. Wyatt, the tight end. He also, or J.J. Watt, excuse me, the tight end, gets it done. Look at the blocking up top and the seal right there. That's a great job by that tight end to seal things off and not allow that guy to fold back inside and make a play.
We have a Western Michigan Bronco player down, and
C.J. Wilson.
C.J. Wilson, the free safety. A redshirt freshman from Twinsburg, Ohio, has 1 interception this season. And we'll step aside as the training staff tends to C.J. Wilson with Western Michigan on top.
Western Michigan University is one of the nation's top public research universities, a place where 25,000 students enjoy cutting-edge facilities, access to renowned faculty, and an active campus life. Home to one of the nation's oldest honors programs and some 235-degree offerings, WMU attracts acclaim in disciplines ranging from atomic physics to vocal jazz. Western Michigan University, a research university devoted to student success.
Inside the 25 at about the 23-yard line, Louis Delmas came over and made the stop.
And that's what I was talking about at the top of the show, about how Louis Delmas will come and tackle you. He's not trying to get you down. He's trying to hurt you. I love the way he runs around and plays that position. He's an enforcer out there. Take another look at this one. Watch him come in at the end of this play. There's no breakdown. There's nothing but full speed ahead, no fair dodging from Louis Delmas.
Well, Louis Delmas is a young man that's been hurt in his life. Ontario Sneed up the middle, close to a first down. Delmas again comes up and helps out on the stop. Louis Delmas, when he was 9 years old, saw his parents for the last time. As a 9-year-old young man, all of a sudden, there's a police raid at his house. His mother was allegedly running a cocaine distribution out of the family home, but his parents had escaped to Haiti a day before the cops came in looking for them, and they have never been back, and he has never seen his parents since, as Ontario Sneed picks up a couple of yards to the 15-yard line. Delmas was actually raised, or at least from about 13 years old on, by the family of E.J. Biggers, who was his high school teammate at North Miami Beach High School. He lived with the Biggers family. They took him in, and he has no relationship with his parents to this day.
Yeah, he is connected with his 2 brothers and his sister a little bit, so he does have some sense of family. But he made a vow that when he has a family, that he's going to take care of them, and they're going to be a good family, because he knows how much it hurts not to have family.
Sneed gets a crease and gets down to about the 12-yard line. But what does that say about the family of E.J. Biggers?
Well, that's great. Yeah, that speaks very highly of E.J. Biggers' family, and those 2 guys have been close since they were 8, 9 years old, and you know, it was great by the Biggers family to bring him in, and they actually treated Delmas like one of their own. They gave him chores, discipline, all those things that you get in a family environment.
3rd down and 5. And looking for an audible call from the sideline with 8 on the play clock and some confusion. Dan Lefevre now set for the snap. Wants to go left. Tucks it under. He'll go down. It'll be a field goal attempt for the Chippewas as Greg Marshall got him around the ankles and dragged him down.
Yeah, and you're right about the confusion. You had 2 guys on the top run inside routes. There's nothing he could do, but here's your guy that makes the play right there, Greg Marshall. He's going to get a nice pass rush on the outside. He keeps fighting after getting cut and then takes the angle to where Lefevre's going to be. That's a smart football player right there.
Andrew Aguila onto attempts a 29-yard field goal to finally get Central Michigan on the board. And he is perfect. Aguila last year was 15 of 19, and he knocks that one right down the middle. And finally, the Chippewas put some points on the board with 4:07 to go before halftime. Western Michigan with a 7-3 lead. As finally the Chippewa fans have something to cheer about. They've got at least a field goal on the board. And a heck of a contingent made the drive down here to Kalamazoo to see if the Chippewas could lock up the Western Division in the MAC. This is almost a pseudo playoff game in that if Central is able to win this game, then they're going to be a division champion. And boy, you want to talk about motivation for your arch rival when you're 3-6 to breathe some life back into your season if you're able to beat your arch rival and at least for a week hold them off from winning a division title.
Let me tell you, Bob, it'll hold them off for more than a week. It will make the Broncos season if they're able to beat the Chippewas, who are right now undefeated in MAC play. And if they were to be the only blemish on that record, that would be a high consolation for Bill Cubitt's boys.
Kickoff comes down at about the 8-yard line. And a return out to about the 23. Well, the way the standings are, at least right now, for Western Michigan, it's not exactly what folks that cover the MAC expected to see at the start of the season.
Yeah, they were the #1 choice to not only win the MAC West Division, but also win the MAC championship game. And they had some things going on that they liked coming into this year. In particular, that defense with the secondary, which was supposed to be, top-notch throughout the league. And they also thought that the quarterback, Tim Hiller, would be able to make a lot more plays than he's made this year. In 2005, he was the MAC Freshman of the Year, but he was the beneficiary of some very good receivers in Scheffler and Greg Jennings.
A quick hitch to Brian Anderson, or check that, pardon me, to Herb Martin. A gain of about 4 yards for Western Michigan. Well, Central Michigan has made the preseason predictions stand up. You could see it was almost a dead heat in terms of media votes as to which of these two teams was going to be the top team in the MAC. And as it turns out, Central Michigan and Butch Jones' crew, they've done their job. They're undefeated in the conference so far, but according to Bill Cubitt, things really went downhill for this team with the loss to Ball State. Then they came back against Eastern Michigan, and as he put it, really laid an egg last week, and they put up no points offensively. They get a safety and get beat 19-2.
Yeah, and the other one that really hurt them was that last-second loss to Akron, where they had that game under control, took a safety late, and then just had one play left, a kickoff, and Akron on a lateral play ends up stealing that ball game 39-38 as you see those MAC standings. And Central Michigan, the only MAC team that's undefeated in conference play.
3rd down and a yard. Western Michigan opened up the first drive of the game with 82 yards and a touchdown. They have 41 yards of total offense on their last 4 possessions. Bouncing it to the outside is Mark Bonds. Well, he picks up the first down and then some. A play that was designed to go up the middle. Stephen Friend forced him, and outside Bonds went.
Yeah, and Larry Knight is the guy who has contain on this. Number 95 at the top of your screen. He got kind of sucked inside, looking for where the ball was, didn't see the bounce out. They beat him on contain. A nice run right there by that man, Mark Bond.
A gain of 17 on that run. And Bonds now with 7 carries for 37 yards and a touchdown. A reverse.
Wow,
Julian dropped well behind the 40-yard line. That'll be a loss of over 10 yards. Casey DeRocha slices through and makes the stop.
All right, DeRocha, he did it all on that play. The penetration, watch him, he's the nose guard. Look at that right there, how quick he was off the ball. He got the penetration, beat the blocker there, and then was able to swing his legs back around and actually make the tackle. That's a heck of an effort right there. Look at that little kick tackle. Got away with one there, I think. That really should be a tripping flag, but it wasn't called.
Down the right sideline, Hiller looking for Martin, and he had him open as we head back to the studio and check in with Ray Bentley's favorite, Cam Moore.
And he is mine. Coming up on the Sports Center halftime report, Jesse Palmer stops in with his top 5 Heisman picks. We'll look at some coaches on the hot seat in college football, and Kurt Schilling staying in Boston for at least one more year. That's coming up soon as we get you back to Bob and my favorite MAC linebacker ever, Ray Bentley.
That's high praise right there. I'm going to have my top 5 Heismans too, so we'll see how Jesse matches up to what I got.
Well, Tim Hiller in a down and distance, there aren't many play calls for. 3rd down and 20. And he will set up the punt as he dives out to the 45-yard line, a gain of 6.
Again, good downfield coverage by the Chippewas. And that's the second time we've seen that where Hiller just had to bring it down and try to run because the coverage was outstanding. And since the first drive, Red Keefe and his teammates down there on defense have figured things out, and they've been shutting down Bill Cubitt's offense. Red Keefe leading the way with 10 tackles already tonight. He may get my record by halftime. Well, maybe not halftime, but definitely before this one's over.
Well, there's even more football to come on Saturday. Mark Mangino and the Kansas Jayhawks, one of 3 unbeatens left in college football. Saturday night, a big game with Oklahoma State. Some of you may also see Boston College in Maryland or USC Cal. Check local listings for the game in your area. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines at 8 Eastern on ABC. College football lives here. So the Chippewas spend a timeout, preserve a little bit of clock with 1:37 to go in the opening half. And you can see once again up at the top of your screen those little yellow dashes under each team. That represents the number of timeouts that they both have. And right now, Central Michigan probably shouldn't have 2. They should probably only have 1.
Yeah,
they made a mistake on that last possession down on 3rd down inside the 10-yard line, didn't they? Not calling a timeout?
Yeah, I believe so. We saw the confusion, especially on 3rd down, 4 minutes to go in the half, and you got them. You might as well burn one in that situation. They didn't, and they had to take the field goal.
Antonio Brown back deep to receive, this time a shank punt that barely creeps inside the 30-yard line from Jim Laney. Only 27 yards.
And you saw the Central Michigan offense start to get a little bit of a running game going in that last series. And that's the key for them in this offense. Even though it's a spread offense and they throw the ball around a lot, the running is the key. And you see Dan Lefevre, who's the leading rusher on this team, only 4 carries for -1 yard so far today. He has not gotten too involved in that running game yet.
Lefevre to the near side. Finds Justin Gardner for a modest gain. Tackled inbounds by E.J. Bigger, so the clock rolls with 1:20 to go. And now with 2 timeouts, Central Michigan hurries up.
Dan Lefevre is very adept at running a 2-minute offense.
Lefevre this time looks over the middle, dances out of the pocket, tries to turn the corner, and runs out of bounds with a 1-yard gain, maybe with 1:02 to go in the first half.
And I think that's an understanding of the situation. Normally, Dan Lefevre will tuck that ball away, lower his shoulder, and pick up tough yards. Here, he knew he's dealing with the clock, so he got it out of bounds.
Anthony Gebhardt, the nickelback, who had the pick of Lefevre back in the first quarter, forced him out. 3rd down. Antonio Brown, the motion man. Lefevre looks that way. Finds Brown, looking for a slant. Flag comes out. Boston McCornell bumped Antonio Brown. And this will be an automatic first down for the Chippewas.
Yeah, and Central Michigan did a nice job creating the mismatch. They lined up in trips to the right and a single receiver on the backside, and then they're going to motion Brown over to make that matchup that they desired.
Pass interference. Defense, number 43. First down after spot of the foul.
Take a look at that. Here is the motion man. He started over here, went there, and that puts him man-to-man, their number one receiver, Antonio Brown, on a linebacker. And he's going to win that one all the time. I mean, most of the time anyway. And McConnell, he got there a little early, but that's not where a linebacker wants to be. In space, covering the number one receiver from the opponent.
First down for Lefevre. A short gain inbound, so the clock rolls. Justin Gardner didn't get to the sideline, simply caught the ball and fell down after a gain of 5. So still with 2 timeouts, but now the clock inside of 43 seconds.
Might have been a good time to use a timeout right there.
Lefevre again looks to the sideline. And this time an incompletion. Dwayne Brooks juggled it as he was stepping out of bounds. So it's 3rd and 5 with 32 seconds to go.
And the Western defense right now is playing strictly coverage. Have not blitzed in this 2-minute situation. They've been rushing 4 and dropping 7, and so far so good with that strategy, but they love to blitz. Billy Miller is the master of the blitz. We'll see if they want to bring one.
Seems like for the most part, though, for Western, it's been standard 2 safeties, 5 across the bottom. I'm sure it's not something that Dan Lefevre hasn't seen before, but he has not dissected it so far here in the first half, and now they have to call a dead ball timeout. They lose one of their 2 remaining timeouts without getting a snap-off with 32 seconds to go.
But Dan Lefevre made the right decision this time. If things aren't the way you want them in a critical 3rd down, you're driving, you got a couple timeouts, take it. He didn't do it the previous drive. He did it here. He got better, and he probably, well, we'll see what happens, but at least the Chippewas, you would expect, will come out knowing what they're doing.
Butch Jones taking over in his first year at Central. A former assistant at Central from 1998 through 2004, then left for a couple of years and was an assistant coach for Rich Rodriguez at West Virginia, and his ties to West Virginia allowed him to recruit some players, namely Antonio Brown, who is probably his best all-around offensive weapon. All of a sudden, West Virginia doesn't have room for a real talented skill position player. Well, we have a spot on our roster, says Butch Jones, and here comes Antonio Brown up to Michigan.
He took Paul Bolero, his defensive line coach, with him from West Virginia, and he was the guy in charge of recruiting Antonio Brown. They called him right before the season started, and he was sitting on the couch. He said, come on up, we got a spot for you. He showed up the day that camp started, not even in the Central Michigan media guide, but boy, he's in the statistic, that's for sure.
Central Michigan after the timeout, 0 for 5 on 3rd down. And they can't come up with a 3rd down conversion here, make it 0 for 6. E.J. Biggers knocks it away from Gardner.
Yeah, and the timing on that route was thrown off because Lefevre had to scramble. And by the time he got himself set to throw, it was too late, and that allowed Biggers to come up and break it up. And Broncos defense has played very well in this first half, much better than I had seen on film coming in. And I think that's part of the whole rivalry thing. You know, this is where you want to peak and play your best game. And so far on defense, I believe Western Michigan has.
Well, Tony McCulloch has been as busy a player as the Chippewas have had. Angles one to the sideline and gets a rolling punt perfectly executed to go out of bounds at the 15-yard line with 18 seconds to go in the opening half. 43-yard punt. No return, so now I would assume if you're Western, this is taking knee time for Hiller, isn't it? You put the ball in the freezer and take a lead to the locker room.
Yeah, with this kind of field position, absolutely. Take your knee, go on in there, slap each other on the back. You got a 7-3 lead, but both Bill Cubitt and Butch Jones know this is going to be a 60-minute Tuesday night tussle. Yeah, and they're lining up in that take-a-knee formation.
So Hiller will let the first half clock expire. Western Michigan below 500 so far this season. They have struggled in conference. They haven't had a losing season in the past couple under Bill Cubit, but a chance certainly to breathe a lot of life back in their year if they can win this rivalry game. And Western Michigan's head coach is standing by with Todd.
Coach, with the loss early in the game of Jamarco Simmons, how does that change your offensive attack?
Well, it's difficult because he's a guy that we move around a lot and try to get the ball around a lot. So some of these other guys are going to have to start making plays.
Up 7-3, what do you tell your team at halftime to preserve this lead?
Well, really, offensively, we got things going. We're just not executing on third down and, making some bad misreads. And, some throws we got to go make. But, I feel pretty good about it.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Bob? All right, Todd, thanks very much. So we are at the half. Western Michigan with a 7-3 lead over Central Michigan. A big rivalry game in the MAC as we head back to Pam Ward for Sports Center at halftime. Pam?
Thank you, Bob. Those two teams can't stand each other. We have so much more coming up here on the Sports Center halftime report. We'll get you up to date on what's happening around baseball. Some big news coming out of the Red Sox camp for the World Champions. And Jesse Palmer also going to stop by, and he's going to look ahead to some huge games this weekend. And also we'll look at his top 5 picks for the Heisman Trophy. Troy Smith won it last year. That seemed pretty clear-cut. Not so this year.
Can you see it? It's your commute, your way of life. Here, more than 28,000 feet below the surface, setting half a dozen world records for technological innovation without a single safety or environmental incident. As the world demands more energy, we attempt the extraordinary to power the world right now. This is the power of human energy.
All right, I need someone on the red eye or a Plantain jersey. Who's it going to be, people?
I'll go, sir.
Great. I need somebody in Houston by 5.
I'm your man, sir.
6 a.m. to Omaha. Who's taking one for the team?
That'd be me, sir.
Steve-O. That's what I'm talking about. Steve, can you make it to Buffalo by 4? Anyone seen Steve?
Enjoy your trip.
We will. Thank you.
We know why you fly. We're American Airlines.
On behalf of Central Michigan University and the Mid-American Conference, I want to thank you for being a part of NCAA football.
As coaches and players, we compete to win, but we compete within the rules of the game. And we ask that you do the same by being great fans and demonstrate good sportsmanship. Good sportsmanship epitomizes a competitive experience for all who support college football.
Let's make this game a memorable and enjoyable experience for everyone. Make it a great day for NCAA football. Thank you and enjoy the game.
Nobody does NASCAR like speed does NASCAR. NASCAR on speed. It's huge.
Furniture Row, one of America's fastest growing furniture retailers, takes on NASCAR's Nextel Cup again in 2007. Take a seat and follow Furniture Row Racing, NASCAR Racing's home team.
Does this look familiar? Maybe a little bit too familiar? Or maybe a variation of this, right? Maybe you're like this, or like this. Maybe you're laying down, or watching TV, or playing video games or something. This couch is not your friend. Get the education you need. Get the career training. Do something you're passionate about. Do something that you enjoy. Everything you're going to do in the field, you're going to do in the classroom. It all starts with one step. Call now. Train now. Getting geared towards the career. Quit faking moves and make a move. Get up off the couch and call now.
McFadden gets the call. He's at the 25, the 30. T-Mac at the 40, the 50, the 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Arkansas!
And has it. Back to Quinton. He'll pump fake. Wants to go deep.
Wide open, J. Will. Touchdown, Oregon.
Tebow in the gun, takes the snap, wants to run. Now jump pass into the end zone, wide open. It's a touchdown.
Ryan, past the 30, throw it to the end zone for Callender. Touchdown! Andre Callender's got
So many great players playing for just one trophy, the Heisman Trophy. Jesse Palmer joins us right now in what appears to be a wide-open race. We'll go number 5 through 1 with you, and we'll start way out in the Pacific.
Way out west in Hawaii, Colt Brennan is my number 5 right now. And while his numbers probably won't be as good as last year, he's still on pace to throw for over 4,200 yards. Yeah, he's thrown 11 interceptions, but 26 touchdown passes. He'll be one of the most decorated collegiate athletes ever by the time his career is over. The most important thing for him, though, his team is undefeated.
Big game with Boise State coming up. Darren McFadden had an incredible game over the weekend.
What can you say about his performance? 321 yards on the ground. He also threw a touchdown pass. This guy might be one of the greatest players ever to play in college football. He's in top 5 right now in rushing. He's an outstanding talent.
Oklahoma Sooners are coming on strong again, and Sam Bradford's had a great year.
And Sam Bradford's not playing like a freshman. 25 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. He's the second most efficient thrower right now in college football. The biggest reason why Oklahoma's had so much success.
And Tim Tebow does it with his arm and with his legs.
He does it all. He is the most efficient thrower in the country. He's accounted for 35 touchdowns. If it weren't for 3 losses, I think Tim Tebow would be at the top of everybody's list right now.
So Tim Tebow is at number 2. Your number 1 pick for the Heisman is?
Then it's Dennis Dixon, and you have to say that after his 4 touchdown passing performance against ASU, he also can hurt you with his legs and with his arm. He's got a lot of weapons. The most important number for Dennis Dixon right now is that they are 8-1 through tough competition this year. He has shown up time and time again. What a player in Dennis Dixon.
That is what Jesse thinks. What about what you think? The ESPN Sports Nation poll, who will win the Heisman? Well, they agree with Jesse. Dennis Dixon right now leading everybody at 56%. Mike Hart and Matt Ryan not in Jesse's top 5. Also hanging in there as over, or almost rather, 45,000 people weighed in on the Heisman. Coming up, Jesse sticks around and we'll look ahead at some big games this weekend.
You know, HD TV and TiVo HD just belong together, like me and Duke. I mean, why get a premium HD TV and a generic DVR? My TiVo searches for HD by show, actor, team, and downloads thousands of movies right to my TV. And Duke, he gets me other things.
Oh, he's so cute.
Good boy, Duke.
New TiVo HD. Get it now at a price worth pausing for.
Only on PlayStation 3, starting at $3.99.
Honda EU Series generators are perfect for hardcore tailgaters. They provide reliable power for all sorts of things, and they're incredibly quiet.
I got this one.
Which neighbors really appreciate. Honda generators. Bring it!
Thursday Night Football on ESPN at 7:30 Eastern Time. Steve Slayton tries to run through the Louisville defense as West Virginia, with revenge on its mind, takes on the Cardinals. And that is one of the games we are looking at this weekend. West Virginia's pass defense should be tested.
It will. Last year, Louisville got the best of West Virginia. Brian Brom in that game threw for over 350 yards. That may be more difficult this season. West Virginia has the 4th best pass defense in the country. That will be the key to this football game.
Also this weekend, Georgia and Auburn. Noshawn Moreno, 1,000 yards on the season.
If Auburn wants to win this game, they will have to slow down Noshawn Moreno. And what a 2-week period he has had. 188 yards against Florida 2 weeks ago. 196 against Troy this past weekend. This guy is electric.
Florida State coming off a big win against Boston College, takes on Virginia Tech.
I really think this is a story of 2 quarterbacks, Drew Weatherford and Sean Glenn, and 2 guys that were benched early in the season. Maybe they both have their starting jobs back. Weatherford certainly does after throwing for 354 yards against Boston College. Glennon may get a shot to play again. He's played well the last 2 weeks, but expect to see a little bit of Tyrod Taylor as well.
Virginia Tech still not certain who will start. Florida and South Carolina next.
Steve Spurrier has played Urban Meyer very tough. He won 2 years ago, should have won last year had it not been for that blocked field goal by Jarvis Moss. I spoke to Urban Meyer early in the season. He said he wished Coach Spurrier coached in another conference. That's how good of a coach he is. He always plays them tough.
Pac-10 has been very entertaining this year. Cal and USC this weekend.
Well, John David Booty is back, so all is well in Los Angeles, right? Well, the USC defense has not seen playmakers what Cal has on their side of the football, including Deshaun Jackson, Lavelle Hawkins, Justin Forsett. They cause a bevy of problems. USC's defense is going to have to be ready.
And that game will come your way Saturday, 8 Eastern time on ABC. And meanwhile, there's been a lot of coaching talk already. Here we are already in early November. And a lot of that talk starting in Texas, where Dennis Franchione, there's talk that he's going to be bought out of his contract, but he says he will not talk about it and won't even talk about the reports that they are trying to buy him out. A very disappointing season again for Texas A&M. Disappointing also is the word that you could use for the University of Nebraska. Bill Callahan says that he won't resign, Jesse. They're going to have to fire him.
Yeah, well, that's the question that's going to be going on through the rest of the year. People, a lot of speculation, wondering, will he last the year? Will he be fired during the bye week? We can just wait and find out. 2 games left on their schedule, though.
Some are surprised he wasn't fired after giving up 76 points to Kansas. Charlie Weiss still has not decided who will start against Air Force at quarterback, Evan Sharpley or Jimmy Clausen, as they are coming off that loss to the Naval Academy and still with just 1 win on the season. Some other news and notes. Ryan Perilou back at practice after the 1-game suspension after being involved in a bar fight. Kyle Wright will start at quarterback Saturday for Miami. He's been out with a sprained left ankle. And Frank Beamer still deciding on his quarterback. Will it be Sean Glennon or Tyrod Taylor, who is healthy again as they have that big game coming up against Florida State. First half between Western Michigan and Central Western is up 7-3. The only touchdown coming thanks to Mark Bonds. We have more coming up, including Kurt Schilling news.
Try the coffee everyone's talking about. We'll even add the cream and sugar just the way you like it, leaving you just one responsibility. Tough gig. McDonald's Premium Roast Coffee.
I'm comfortable going fast. I'm comfortable in Wrangler.
Introducing Relaxed Straight Leg and Relaxed Boot Fit from Wrangler Jeans Company. Wrangler Jeans Company. New fits, new styles, great comfort.
As kids,
Excited to drop down the chimney. I wouldn't go telling people that.
Fred and Nick couldn't be more different. But now,
you've never come up here to visit.
The one place Fred doesn't fit in.
You review those files. If the kid strikes you as naughty, bam! Stamp him naughty.
Is exactly where he's meant to be.
It's Christmas. Come on, the kids are out there. They're counting on us. You bet.
Vince Vaughn, Paul Giamatti, Fred Claus. Rated PG. Starts Friday, November 9th.
Now at Maple Hill Hyundai, it's the year-end closeout. Purchase a 2007 Sonata, sunroof, all-power equipment, air, front and side airbags, and side curtains, and much more, wrapped up by America's best warranty. 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. West 2730. Now just $15,951 while supplies last. Or choose the new Accent with up to 37 miles per gallon. Nicely equipped with America's best warranty. Starting at just $12,759. Maple Hill Hyundai in Kalamazoo. On the web at maplehillauto.com. We treat you like family.
I'm gonna brand steakhouse and grill just for the fun of it. I'm gonna brand steakhouse and grill just for the fun of it.
It's all given steak this holiday season at Brand Steakhouse and Grill. With every $50 gift card purchase, you'll receive a certificate for a free 8-ounce stripling steak dinner. Pick one up at any Brand's location. Brand Steakhouse and Grill. It's the best food in the world.
Coming up on Thursday, the MLS Eastern Conference Championship, Blanco and the surprising Chicago Fire head to Foxborough to take on Taylor Twellman and the New England Revolution. Coverage starts at 7:30 Eastern Thursday on ESPN2. Staying in New England, Kurt Schilling and the Red Sox have finalized an $8 million one-year contract. He can make an additional $5 million in bonuses to match his 2007 salary. Schilling and the Sox coming off their second World Championship in 4 seasons. Schilling is staying where he wants to be.
I guess the easy way to put this is if you had to pick the job of your life and everybody in your profession made $0, where would you work? If we all had to play for free and you could play anywhere you wanted to, this would be the place I would pick. So add on top of that the fact that I can make $13 million doing it, it makes it a nice place to play. I mean, everything about it, from the ballpark to the fans, to the passion, to the history, to the recent history, to the community we live in, that we raise our kids in. All of it's been beyond our expectations. The respect and the passion with which this city embraced my family is unprecedented, and it's the perfect place to finish a career.
He is certainly not playing for free. Red Sox designated hitter David Ortiz had his right knee scoped today to clean up some damaged cartilage. He'll start rehab immediately. Is expected to be at full speed come spring training time. He hit .332 with 35 homers last season. And for the first time, baseball general managers are recommending instant replay be used to help umpires make close calls. They voted 25-5 in favor of a measure that would limit replay to questionable home run calls. It still has to be okayed by owners, umps, and the Players Association. Peter Gammons weighs in.
Bud Selig said Tuesday afternoon that he will take under advisement. The general manager suggested that in 2008 they begin using instant replay. Now, Selig is very concerned about the pace of game. But these replays would only involve home runs at the top of walls and on foul poles. It shouldn't take very much time, which Selig probably will then pass.
Another commissioner story, Roger Goodell in the NFL informing Titans defensive back Adam Pac-Man Jones that he will not be reinstated. Jones' suspension will last through the rest of the season for his many off-field troubles the two met last week. Eric Lindros reportedly about to announce his retirement from the NHL, expected to make that announcement on Thursday at a news conference in London, Ontario. He played over 700 games for Philly, Toronto, the Rangers, and Dallas. And some NBA action tonight. Mike D'Antoni and the Suns taking on the Bobcats in Charlotte. First quarter, Suns up 3. Sean Marion with the steal. And the smart thing is to give it to Steve Nash, and Nash always knows who to find at the right moment. It's Grant Hill this time, 13-8 Suns. Later in the first, Raymond Felton coming the other way for the Bobcats. Alley-oop to Gerald Wallace, who puts it in nicely. Suns up by 4. In second quarter, the Suns lead magically up to 12. Leandro Barbosa gives them a bigger lead. NBA Coast to Coast with John Saunders coming up later after this football game. Right now, Central Michigan hanging in there because of their good defense. Only down 7-3 at the half. Second half coming right up.
We must stop inflation. Senator, how is that achievable?
More than just fries. I can choose whatever celebrity's nose I want, but I have to have fries with my combo. What about a baked potato? Chili. A side salad. More than just fries. This is America, people. He's making more sense than the governor.
At Wendy's, you can have more than just fries with your combo, like a side salad, baked potato, or even chili at no extra cost.
That's right. It is not just the strength to learn, but the strength to teach. Not just the strength to follow, but the strength to lead. It is not just the strength to wake up your life, but the strength to live out your dreams. There's Strong, and then there's Army Strong. To learn more about the Army's 150 different career opportunities, visit goarmy.com/strong.
Jack Link's Beef Jerky presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
Hey, buddy. Hey.
Jack Link's Jerky. Feed your wild side.
The Mid-American Conference salutes Herb Duromedy, its all-time winningest coach and most recent inductee into the College Football Hall of Fame. As Central Michigan's head football coach, Duromedy compiled a 110, 55, and 10 record, plus 3 MAC titles and 2 MAC Coach of the Year honors. He joined such MAC coaching legends as Bo, Woody, and Era, Don James and Dwight Perry, plus star players Mel Long, Bob Babich, and Don Nealon. The MAC salutes its College Football Hall of Fame enshrinees and looks forward to continuing its tradition of excellence. like great rivalry games in college football with a little bit of everything and all the school spirit you could ever ask for? That's what we have tonight here in Kalamazoo. Set for the start of the third quarter, Western Michigan with a 7-3 lead over Central Michigan. Bob Wischusen, Ray Bentley, and Todd Harris with you here in Kalamazoo. And Ray, this was a game tonight that was supposed to be kind of the crowning achievement of the season for Central Michigan. They were going to come in here, win on the road. They don't normally do that. Lock up the Western Division of the MAC, and it hasn't worked out that way so far.
Well, it's a 60-minute ball game, but I'll tell you what, the Western Michigan University Broncos came out in that first half, ran around and played very aggressive, good football, in particular on defense. They really shut the Chippewas down.
Let's take a look at some first-half highlights. And Western Michigan opened the game with a tone-setting 82-yard touchdown drive.
Yeah, Mark Bonds got it in, push it in. They're up 7-0. A huge first drive, but then Jamarco Simmons kicked Red Keith. You saw it right there. He got ejected from the ball game, escorted to the locker room, but the Bronco defense took that as a challenge. Gephardt comes up with an interception on that ensuing drive, and then watch this hit from number 9, Louis Delmont. Bam! Right there. He lights it up. And so the Chippewa offense has struggled, but in large part because of the way the Broncos have been playing defense. And you've talked about the numbers from the Chippewas coming into this one, and the things you usually see from this football team on the offensive side, you're not seeing it tonight.
There's no question. The overriding theme tonight has been how Western Michigan has shut down a very potent Central Michigan offense. An offense that normally puts up over 32 points and 430 yards per game. They have 3 on the board as we're set for the start of the second half, and Western will begin the second half with the football. Brandon West and Louis Delmas back deep to receive the second half kick, and it's a short kick to the 15. It comes to Delmas. And he gets a good return out across the 35 to about the 38-yard line as we check in with Todd.
Well, Bob, moments ago I talked with Central Michigan head coach Butch Jones, and he told me he really wasn't that concerned about his offense despite the only 3 points on the scoreboard. He said that what they need really to do is to get into a rhythm and start executing the offensive plan. He said after that, we'll be just fine. No concern about his quarterback, Dan Lefevre. He said, and as for the defense, very happy holding a very explosive Western Michigan team to just 1 touchdown when they could have had much more in the first half. Bob?
Well, Todd, this is the first time that Central Michigan in the MAC has trailed at halftime as this play is blown dead at the line.
Five yards remains first down.
Now, they didn't give us a number, so it's a false start against Western Michigan. It'll be 1st and 15, but Central this season in their 5 previous MAC games, or 4 previous MAC games, led at halftime in every one, won every one. They are 5-0 in games they led at the half, and they have yet to put together a second half comeback as well. 0-4 in games they trail at halftime. But it's only a 4-point game, and I mean, as you said, Ray, in college football, 30 minutes can sometimes feel like 60 minutes in the NFL.
Yeah, it drags out, but both these teams are fighting with everything they have here in this game tonight, but you're going to see in this second half, somebody's going to pull away.
A short pass thrown by Tim Hiller, well underthrown, so now it's 2nd down and 15. Tim Hiller, a medical redshirt last season. He was the freshman of the year in this conference back in 2005. 20 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions, and 5 starts. And then had his knee explode at the end of last 2 seasons ago. Sets up the screen to Brandon Ledbetter. And Ledbetter is tripped up at the 42-yard line. But he went through a very difficult time, didn't he, Ray? Finishing 2 years ago as MAC Freshman of the Year, and then missing all of last season with a knee that exploded. Heck, he comes into summer camp this year having no idea if he's even going to be the starting quarterback.
Yeah, he still had to fight for the position this year coming in. When he was a freshman, he had Tony Scheffler at tight end, and he had Greg Jennings at wide receiver. And all he had to do was get the ball in their vicinity, and they would make plays. He doesn't have the luxury of that kind of talent around him this year. That, in part, accounts for his struggles.
3rd down and 6. Hiller hit as he throws underneath, caught by Herb Martin, but short of a first down.
And Nick Ballore came up, the true freshman linebacker, and made the stop short of the first down marker. And Nick Ballore is the beneficiary of studying under Red Keith. In fact, Red Keith told us that his goal was to make sure that Nick Valor knew how to prepare for a football game by the time Red left. And you see Hiller took a big hit from Stephen Friend after he let that ball go.
And Red Keith told the coaches that Nick Valor has a lot more talent than I'll ever have. So my goal is to teach him how to get ready for a football game. And he has taught Valor how to watch tape, how to scout the opponent.
Yeah, Red holds his own film sessions in his dorm room at night. Gets them young linebackers over and gets them schooled up the right way. And you said it before, he's a kid that needs football. It's a great escape for him. He's got his mother, Vicky, is at home with cancer, ovarian cancer. She's fighting through that right now. And so football means a lot for Red. It's a way he can escape.
For the Western Michigan Broncos, C.J. Wilson is back in at free safety. You'll remember that he went down towards the end of the first half. And on first down, it's back to the ground attack, and Justin Hoskins who breaks free. And it looks to be a run out to the 29-yard line, very close to a first down. His knee hit at about the 28. He may be marked a yard shy after a gain of 9.
Watch him shake Gebhardt right there. He just came up and broke down, and all he could do was get a whiff on Hoskins. He makes a nice move, and he is at his best when his shoulders are square to the line of scrimmage, and he's running up the field.
The officials gave him forward progress just across the 28. Good enough for a first down for Central. It has been the ground attack for the most part tonight for Justin Hoskins. A gain of 2. Greg Marshall and Boston McCornell combined on the stop.
And Hoskins was not the starter at the beginning of the year for the Chippewas. Ontario Sneed was. But Sneed had some issues, fumbled a couple of times, and Hoskins got his break, and he got in there, and he has done a great job since taking over the starting role.
Well, he was the starting running back a couple of years ago for Notre Dame in their bowl game, but sat out all of last season as a transfer. A drop by J.J. Watt, a bit of a high throw from Dan Lefevre on what should have been an easy pitch and catch screen. It seemed like they got the flow going the way they wanted with the play action fake.
Yeah, I mean, they had it set up, perfect. They had 2 guys wide open, and Watt will have nightmares about that one. And that throw, there's nothing wrong with that throw. You make that catch.
J.J. Watt, a true freshman from Wisconsin. The 4th drop of the night for the Chippewas sets up 3rd down and 8.
0 for 6 on 3rd downs in the first half.
Lefevre has the protection breakdown once again. This time he gets out of the pocket and makes a big play with his legs. That is always the danger with Dan Lefevre. He is a running quarterback. He has 2 100-yard rushing games this season.
Yeah, and that's the scrambling ability that I talked about with Dan Lefevre. Go ahead and let this thing run, fellas. Watch the pressure come at him. He's going to find an escape route, and that's what he does extremely well. He'll transition his eyes from down the field to the pocket, and he always seems to be able to find a little crack to get through.
Lefevre picked up 30 there. He averages 61 yards rushing per game. But this time, another little swing pass, not executed. Threw it behind Justin Hoskins, and he couldn't haul it in.
Yeah, the drops are starting to become an issue for the Chippewas now. 5 drop passes on the night, and that's something that'll drive Butch Jones crazy because he's a former receivers coach, and he says he's hardest on those guys out of any of them, and that'll be a personal little peccadillo for him.
2nd down and 10. Lefevre hit as he throws across the middle, and that's a first down catch made by J.J. Watt. Boy, how does he hold on to that one and drop the one before?
I think it's easier to catch the ball when you know you're going to get hit. At least it is for Watt, apparently.
But once again, we see Dan Lefevre, who's right up there, is he not, with your dual threat quarterbacks?
Yeah, I think he's among the best in the country as a dual threat guy. We saw a little example of that, the scramble that he had, and then his ability to throw the football as well.
On 3rd down, a handoff to Ontario Sneed, and he picks up the first down. Let's take a look at some of the guys, though, that you've singled out this year's, I guess, players, defenses really need to find a shadow for.
Yeah, and there's some good ones on this list, and you see the numbers for all of them, and Dan Lefevre highlighted, but Dennis Dixon out there with Oregon, outstanding game last week. He got himself into that Heisman race, and Tim Tebow, Pat White, Matt Grothe, Jake Locker, all those guys are tremendous dual threat quarterbacks in the college game today.
Nice play action fake by Lefevre. Makes a man miss inside the 20. Picks up 11. And another first down for Central.
Oh, he ended up getting a pretty nice block, too, out of there. As Watt, his tight end, seals the corner for him and then comes downfield and leads the way a little bit more. But Dan Lefevre, when he is running around the field, that's when he seems to be at his best. Get him in that scramble mode and he can make some plays.
First and 10 at the 15. They run the hitch to Antonio Brown. Gets the edge. First down inside the 5.
Boy, did you see Brown hit the gas pedal right there? What explosion that he has. As soon as he got the football, he found yet another gear. Almost made it into the end zone. Ended up getting tackled down at the 3. But what great explosion. Watch him just take off right there when he gets that football. Gets it up into that gap and gets himself near the end zone. A heck of an athlete. High school quarterback.
Hoskins and Snead both in the game, either side of Lefevre. Hoskins gang tackled at about the 2-yard line. Boston McCornell was the first there for Western Michigan.
And a little tougher sledding when you get down in this area. And with that spread offense, the Chippewas, I think, need to go to a more north-south type play. That was an east-west type play. You're going to get penetration down in this area, making that type of play more difficult. But I'll tell you what Dan Lefevre gets you down here. You get him on the edge, and now you have a run-pass option. That's really hard to stop.
Lefevre looks to the bench for instructions on second down and goal. This time they trap it to Hoskins. Bounces it to the outside and walks in with a Chippewa touchdown.
And that's just a case of the Bronco defense losing contain. And that's something that you'll see on goal line plays because everybody's so intent on getting up into the line and stopping that inside run. But when it bounces out, somebody's got to be home. Nobody was. Hoskins takes it into the end zone.
Andrew Aguilar on to try and tack on the point after. It took a while for Central Michigan to finally find the end zone, but they do so 5 minutes into the third quarter. And Central Michigan takes the lead over Western, 10-7. Justin Hoskins goes over from 3 yards out. Timeout.
Assassin's Creed, available November 14. Rated M for mature.
PlayStation 3, starting at $3.99.
This is where I grew up, and where my parents still live. They did everything for me. Provided for my education, got me started. That's why I want to make sure that this home will always be theirs, that their needs will be taken care of, and that their future will be as bright as the future they gave me.
At John Hancock, we have the insurance, investment, and retirement products to help build, protect, and sustain the future you promised yourself. John Hancock, the future is yours.
In the NFL, the biggest games are decided by the smallest details. That's why Samsung imagined an LCD HD TV with 120 hertz, a true black screen, and twice the frames per second for exceptional motion clarity.
We got it. Challenging.
So you won't have to wait for further review to start the celebration. The decision is clear. Samsung, the official HD TV of the NFL.
Presented by Southwest Airlines, Kansas, Oklahoma State, or other regional action. Saturday at 8 Eastern.
IBM
presents the 25 greatest players ever. Number 14, Hugh Green. Named to Street and Smith Magazine's All-Decade team, this Pittsburgh defensive end won the Maxwell and Walter Camp Awards, which no defensive player had ever done before. Green's 1980 season led to the most Heisman Trophy votes ever for a purely defensive player. IBM, getting it done.
So we will continue to count all the way through the bowls the top players of all time in college football, and the 25 greatest players presented by IBM. Here's number 20 through 14, and boy, would Hugh Green and Bronco Nagurski, Jim Brown, and Dick Butkus can't crack the top 13. I want to see who the top 13 are.
Yeah, that should be impressive as we start to get that promised precipitation.
Well, we expected that there was going to be some ugly weather at some point tonight. And here in Kalamazoo, you need some ugly weather for a game like this, don't you? This is the rivalry game in the MAC. Delmas gets to the outside across the 30 and is popped at about the 34-yard line. And let's head back to our studios and check in with Pam Ward.
All right, Bob, and we start this 30 at 30 with NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell informing Tennessee defensive back Pac-Man Jones that he will not be reinstated. The two met last week, but the suspension for off-field troubles will last through the end of the season. And Kurt Schilling, could have been a free agent, but instead will stay in Boston. $8 million this year. Incentives could bump it up to $13 million. Sports Center coming your way 11 Eastern on ESPN. ESPN News is where you stay current, guys.
All right, Pam, thanks very much. A smart move by Kurt Schilling. Why he would want to leave Boston at this point would be anyone's guess as Mark Bonds goes up the middle. And he'll be able to get by with an extra $8 to $13 million in his pocket.
Yeah, I think he'll be all right.
You get by.
Hey,
roughly what ESPN pays you to hang around with me.
Mama needs a new pair of shoes now. Got to get her done. But how about this Chippewa defense? They've really turned things around. They gave up 82 yards the first drive against Western. Since then, they've only given up 78 yards.
On second down, Hiller quickly to the outside, finds Herb Martin. And Martin dives out to about the 46-yard line. Should be good for a first down. And NASCAR coverage continues this week in Phoenix. The NASCAR Busch Series at Phoenix on ESPN2, Saturday at 4 Eastern. And then the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series at Phoenix, ABC, Sunday at 3 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Of course, Western Michigan continuing to play without Jamarco Simmons, their most potent offensive weapon by far. They trap up the middle to Glennis Thompson, and he picks up about 2. Simmons was ejected in the first half for kicking linebacker Red Keith when the two got tangled up out of bounds. Keith, to be fair, grabbed Simmons' foot just a bit, may have induced a response, but Simmons was flagged for 15 yards and ejected. And this offense does not look the same without that young man.
And Red Keith, outstanding. He's got a dozen tackles already in this ball game.
Is that a backwards pass? The officials don't blow it dead. That's a fumble. Schneider Julian caught what at least was a parallel pass, then lost it. And it caroms all the way back inside the 40-yard line, where it turns out Julian recovers his own fumble.
Yeah, and you can we'll look right down the line here perfectly, and you can see this is going to be a lateral, and certainly it is. So, and I think Julian caught it. He tried to put it away, and he must have had a hole in his pocket, missed his holster, and threw that thing on the ground. And he was fortunate to come up with it.
A loss of 10. 3rd and 18. Miller well protected, but checks down underneath. They're not even going to come close to picking up the first down. Brandon West gained some field position back, a gain of 10.
And
Tommy Mama came up and made the stop.
Yeah, and Red Keith in on that one as well. And Red does a nice job in both the run game and the pass game. And you saw just a brief flash of Coach Cubitt getting all over Tim Hiller. That's been a huge source of frustration for him. He doesn't think Tim Hiller really gets it yet, doesn't quite understand the nuance of the offense, and he spent a lot of time trying to work with him to get that done, and it's not happening yet.
A well-hit punt by Laney. Travels the sideline. Where does it go out? He hit it well, but it may have gone out of bounds earlier than he intended. Not bad. at the 15-yard line as we take a look at our game track presented by KFC.
Well, we talked about Dan Lefevre and his ability to run and do things with his feet. He had -1 yards rushing prior to this drive. Now he's got 42. And the reason is he was able to break a couple, get contained, or break contained, get outside and let his legs do the work. He was a running back his whole life, and they capped it off with that Hoskins touchdown. But Lefevre was a running back up until his sophomore year in high school. That's when he made the permanent switch to quarterback. So he's pretty good at running the football.
And this time he let someone else do the running. That's Justin Hopkins up the middle. But that was a funny story that he told us, that when he was a running back in high school, he tries out quarterback as a freshman. And it didn't go so well. He didn't like it. So he goes home, he says, you know what, I'm not playing quarterback, I'm playing running back. But his older brother said, you know what, sophomore year, you should try quarterback again. And he almost did it begrudgingly, and then he became a good high school quarterback, and now he's on the verge of playing in the NFL.
Yeah, I really believe that. And, you know, his brother helped him out, too. He played Division III football at Benedictine, his brother Eddie, and then he also is a high school football coach. So he had Dan out there working on becoming a quarterback. It wasn't as simple as saying, oh, I think I want you to be a quarterback. He put him through the drills in the backyard, worked with him, spent a lot of time with him, and helped him develop into a quarterback. And Butch Jones is very happy about that.
Well, 23 career games, he has at least one touchdown pass in 20 of them, facing 3rd down and 3. Here comes the blitz. Under pressure and going down is Lefevre. Boston McCornell came untouched on a stunt and hit Lefevre from the blind side.
And that's a situation where Central Michigan just did not pick up the blitz. McCornell is going to be right here. He's got another guy here, and both are going to come off the edge. And the back, I believe it's Hoskins. Now I take it back at Sneed, Ontario Sneed back there, and he got the wrong guy. You always get the inside guy, the guy that's the most immediate threat, and he let that inside guy go, blocked the outside guy, and he had a direct pass, and he got to Lefevre the second time he's been sacked here today.
Yeah, coming into tonight, Central Michigan had allowed only 9 sacks this season. They hadn't allowed a sack in 16 quarters. Best in the MAC in that department, but they've allowed 2 tonight. A nice kick and a fair catch made by Julian. So Tony McCulloch does a great job of changing field position, a 49-yard punt, and no return. Central Michigan with the lead.
Look, there's a new, give me a new. I'm lost again. Where's Highway 10? This is a good, fast neighborhood with the fiery team and no cheese. Ding dong, ding my turn. I'm gonna burn. What's gonna freeze? It's sure to please. Nothing to try to really fight. Where's Highway 10? There's a moose again. Give a garment. Give a garment. Green, clear and wide, whole world inside.
These KFC triple dip strips are great. Yeah, the sauces really stay in place.
You can dip on the go without the mess.
I can't pass the ultimate test.
Introducing new triple dip strips from KFC for just $2.99. 3 all-white meat crispy strips with 3 dipping sauces held in place so they're easy to eat on the go. Choose from 6 different sauces, including new garlic parmesan. For just $2.99, no one makes it easier to dip on the go than KFC.
Get your weekly dose of NFL news and analysis from Boomer and the Gang. Sunday NFL Countdown, 11 a.m. on ESPN.
Now at Maple Hill Hyundai, it's the year-end closeout. Purchase a 2007 Sonata, sunroof, all power equipment, air, front and side airbags, and side curtains, and much more. Wrapped up by America's best warranty. 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. West 2730. Now just $15,951 while supplies last. Or choose the new Accent with up to 37 miles per gallon. Nicely equipped with America's best warranty. Starting at just $12,759. Maple Hill Hyundai in Kalamazoo. On the web at maplehillauto.com. We treat you like family.
Charter Main Street. It's always on TV, online, on demand.
Football Prime Time. Brought to you by Garmin. Give a Garmin GPS this holiday season. And KFC's new triple dip strips. No one makes it easier to dip on the go than KFC.
Here in Kalamazoo, Michigan, before they moved their plant full-time to Nashville, Tennessee, and condensed the operation, the Gibson Guitar Corporation was here. But the guys that were making guitars for Gibson here in Kalamazoo, they didn't want to go to Nashville. They said, you know what, we'll stay here and we'll start our own guitar company. The Heritage Guitar Company is still right here in Kalamazoo, where they make some of the best guitars in the country. A swing pass to Brandon West as Western Michigan starts this possession with a jitterbug run out to about the 43-yard line. E.J. McLaughlin came up and made the stop.
And Brandon West showed you his shake and bake ability out there on the edge. And we haven't seen much out of him in terms of his ability to move it tonight. As you see Red Keith getting a little treatment out there on the football field. He's battled through some injuries this year. He broke his hand earlier in the season, was playing with a cast on it, and you see Red looks like he's just trying to gather his senses right there.
Red Keith is a throwback. He averages over 9.2 tackles per game. That is second among all football bowl subdivision players. He leads all active formerly Division 1A players with 415 tackles coming into tonight. He has about 13 tackles tonight.
Yeah, he hit his own guy there and got shaken up a little bit. We'll see if Red's able to come back.
Miller on 2nd down and 3 to the sideline. First down catch is made by Jordan White. Chaz West on the stop. But a first down for Western Michigan into Central Territory.
Good execution by Tim Hiller on this play. Got him out on the edge here. He shows you some athleticism and an ability to throw on the run. And boy, his receiver, White, almost lost that one. He had it precariously held in the one arm as he went down.
Hiller, a solid night, has not made many big plays. And this time Julian again can't handle the quick swing pass. At least this one was a forward pass. So they avoid disaster. It's 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, and I think this kind of shows you a little bit of how they missed Jamarco Simmons, because usually when they run that quick screen, Simmons is the guy, and he's worked, Hiller has with Simmons all year long on that, and now you throw a different guy in the mix and your timing is not the same.
Marco Simmons went down in a tussle with Red Keith and kicked Red Keith when the two of them got tied up and was ejected with a personal foul. So they are without their best offensive player, and they are without much of a gain here. Brandon West, barely a gain. Steve Friend on the stop. And in case you missed it, here's what happened back in the first quarter.
Well, watch, Red Keith made the tackle, and Jamarco wasn't happy with the fact that he was still holding on to his foot, and he gave Red a kick. And then he lost his mind on the sideline. That's really where it kind of escalated. And even his coaches could not get him under control, and they had to get him off the field and out of there so he could calm himself down. And he looks like he's got himself back in the right frame of mind.
3rd down and a long 9, closer to 10. A 3-man rush. Hiller deep over the middle, has a man inside the 25, all the way down to the 23-yard line. Well, that is a target that is really a security blanket in Ledbetter.
Watch this safety right here. He's going to vacate that area as he's going to the deep middle. And as soon as he runs out of there, they find that seam. And these two linebackers chasing Ike Brown and Red Keith. One of those guys has to carry that tight end in that look, and they did not.
A first down inside the 25-yard line. Back to the I formation and back to the ground. Mark Bonds bucks it up the middle and picks up close to 8 yards to the 15.
Yeah, we got a nice block here by Truesdale, the guard. Watch him pull around, and he's going to seal it off right here and allow the cutback. He gets around there, he seals off the linebacker, and then the cutback's right there for you. Nice cut by Bonds, good blocking up front. Bonds now with 9 carries, 48 yards, and a touchdown.
2nd and short at the 15 as Western Michigan now in business, looking to try to get the lead back. To the outside, the catch made by Herb Martin. Inside the 10, 1st and goal for the Broncos.
Oh, and Red Keith came over there and delivered another hit and hurt himself again. And that's 14 tackles on the night for Red Keith as Martin is able to move the chains and get the Broncos in there inside the 10-yard line, goal to go.
Three tight ends, all to the near right side. And Brandon West alone set back on 1st and goal at the 9.
Big play action formation.
And that might be Hiller checking off at the line to that run play. Up the middle. Crab crawling his way down to the 5. Is Brandon West, a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and goal with about 90 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter.
This is a huge drive for the Broncos, and they want to get 6 points and then tack on the extra point. They want to take the lead with this one. You never know when you're going to get back down there again. You'd rather come up with those 6 points.
2nd and goal from the 5. There's the play action fake you were talking about, and a sack comes. Ike Brown, unblocked. E.J. McLaughlin there as well. That's the first sack for Central Michigan. Boy, it couldn't have come at a better time for the Chippewas.
Yeah, and it looks exactly like the blitz we saw previously from the Broncos, where they bring 2 off the edge, and they block the outside guy, but not the inside guy. And that's Ike Brown, and Hiller did not have a chance. And it's another blown protection is exactly all that is, and Ike Brown took advantage of it.
Rob Johnson, the left tackle, simply went inside, double-teamed an already blocked player. Well, now it's 3rd down and goal outside the 10-yard line. Hiller stands in the pocket, tries to tuck it under, and he's dragged down again. This time Frank Zumbo gets him at the 15. Well, it was 2nd and goal at the 5 a moment ago, and then the Broncos go backwards, and that should take us to the end of the 3rd quarter.
Back-to-back sacks by the Chippewa defense when their backs were against the wall, and Zombo, who is the best pass rusher on that team, got it done.
Not real easy to play sometimes for Bill Cuban if you're the quarterback. And right now, Tim Hiller getting an earful as we are through 3 quarters of play. When we come back, Western Michigan will look to tie the game as we open the 4th quarter here in Kalamazoo.
The chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup is on ABC, Sunday at 3 Eastern.
These days, it seems like they're trying to protect us from everything. Roll-On protects us from odor. Coffee has a warning label. This is hot. You think we're missing the point? Let's just keep our eye on the big ball. Protect us from the things that matter. The things we can't see coming.
At Ace Hardware, we're known for helping our customers. In fact, we were recently ranked highest in customer satisfaction among major home improvement stores by J.D. Power & Associates. So this holiday season, we'd like to say thank you. This Saturday, at the Ace Thank You Sale, you can get 20% off almost everything you can fit in your thank you shopping bag. So fill it up and save 20%. Saturday only at the Thank You Sale. Ace, the holiday helpful place.
Now you see me? Now you don't. Now you see me. Now you don't. What you are seeing is how much farther, wider, and better you'll see with new Silver Star Ultra headlights from Sylvania. Because the next time you see me, I may not be alone. See farther, see wider, see better. New Silver Star Ultra headlights from Sylvania.
240 miles above the Earth when IMAX needed to power their camera, they trusted Duracell. And if you think advanced technology is only for outer space, consider this. Down here, now you can take up to 5,000 pictures over the life of 2 batteries. New Duracell rechargeables. Recharge in just 15 minutes. They're rechargeables reinvented. So whether it's some amazing shots today, or you're gazing a little further into the future, it just has to work. Duracell, trusted everywhere.
ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. Kansas, Oklahoma State, or other regional action. Saturday at 8 Eastern.
Set for the start of the fourth quarter, ESPN's college football primetime in Kalamazoo, Michigan. The rivalry game every year in the MAC between Central Michigan and Western Michigan. And to start the fourth quarter, Mike Jones lines up for a 33-yard field goal to try and tie the game.
Don't forget, Jim Laney, the holder, has already dropped one.
And a botched snap earlier. This time a knuckleball finds its way through. And we're now tied at 10. A moment ago, Bill Cubit was reading the riot act to his quarterback, Tim Hiller, with more. Down there near the argument is Todd.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tim Hiller is getting some thick skin tonight because Coach Bill Cubit, as we know, is a very demanding coach. And he came over to the side of him and he said, how are you not seeing this? He's drawing out the plays and showing him, basically diagramming it, saying, how are you not seeing this? And I think one of the problem, guys, for Coach Cubit is really learning how to deal with this young quarterback. You know, Tim Hiller is a junior, technically a sophomore on eligibility. And you got to remember last year, his quarterback, Coach Cubit, was his son, Ryan. And we all know how coaches' sons are. They are gym rats. They spend a lot of time in the film room. And I think the transition for both these guys right now is just getting used to one another.
Yeah, and before that, he had Tim Lester, who understood this system, and Coach Cubit did not have to, you know, ride him so hard and pay so much attention to that quarterback position. He said he feels like he's got nothing this year. He's put a lot of the time and investment into Tim Hiller, and that's, you know, there was talk this week of replacing him, but he felt he would give him their best chance to win. But Bill Cubit is very hard on his players. He insists upon discipline, doesn't let them wear hats in the building, for example, gets guys up at 6 in the morning to run all the time. So he's very demanding, and you have to have thick skin to play for him.
Wayne Brooks at about the 36 brought down. You know, Tim Hiller told us a great story back during Toledo week. He said that Bill Cubit, the head coach, is all over me. He's yelling, hurry up, get the play called, get the play called. He follows me into the huddle, and he's still yelling, get the play called. And I turn around to him, and I say, get out of my damn huddle. Because he's yelling, get the play called, and he's yelling it so much, I can't get the play called. And he's telling us this with a smile on his face. We relay that to Coach Cubit, and he told us that was exactly the reaction I wanted to get out of my quarterback. He's not enough of a leader at this point. I want him to be more assertive. So a hit in the secondary, and a heavy one at that by C.J. Wilson. Sometimes there's a method to the coach's madness, isn't there?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it would be tough to play for Bill Cubit, but you would get the most out of yourself, out of your talent. If you toed the line and you did the things he told you to do, you're going to be a much better man for it at the end. And the one word that comes to my mind when I think of Bill Cubit is dignity. And he is a dignified, honest, true blue, old school guy, and I love that.
Lefevre escapes again. He has done all the damage on the last few drives for Central with his legs, and he's into Western territory. And another story that Tim Hiller told us about Bill Cubit as we look at the work he's done in all of the different stops. Said last year at practice at one point, he is just losing his mind on a player. And Tim Hiller leans over to Ryan Cubit and says, boy, I think Coach might have a heart attack if he's not careful. Ryan Cubit says to Tim Hiller, no, I think his heart's scared of him too.
Yeah.
A swing pass, and getting loose is Brown. Inside the 40. Antonio Brown down to about the 37-yard line. And he's very close to another Central first down.
And I think the scrambling of Dan Lefevre here in the second half is helping open up other things, because now Western Michigan has to somehow account for that scramble, whether it's spying a defensive lineman or leaving a linebacker in on him. You take one man away, and that opens up other things. And that's that double-edged sword of the scrambling ability of Dan Lefevre.
They run to Ontario Sneed again out of the spread on 2nd down and 1. And he is right at the first down marker. It looks like he may have it by a half yard. Justin Braska made the stop for Western, and Mark Mangino and the Kansas Jayhawks are one of the unbeatens left in college football. Saturday night, they take on the Cowboys of Oklahoma State, who lost a heartbreaker to Texas this past weekend. Some of you also might see Boston College in Maryland, speaking of heartbreaking losses for BC, or USC Cal. Check local listings for the game in your area. Saturday night college football presented by Southwest Airlines. Saturday at 8 Eastern on ABC. College football lives here. As we get a measurement, Eyeballing it, I thought he got it. I'm good.
You are so good. And we don't have the best angle here either. We're down right around the 25-yard line, and most of the action's been away from us. So that's a pretty good call by you, Bob. I'll give you that one.
Of course, we have these big television monitors, and the guy gets tackled right on that big yellow line that goes across the screen. Not that that's what I was looking at all. I was eyeballing it clearly. Right from here. First down.
So you had the thumb out there for the plumb bob.
First down at the 36 of Western for Central Michigan. Coming up short is Dan Lefevre looking for Antonio Brown. Here in Kalamazoo at Waldo Stadium, Bob Wischusen alongside Ray Bentley. Todd Harris with us down in the field as well. It is the Ohio State, Michigan, USC, UCLA rivalry here in the MAC. Central Michigan can clinch a division title with a win over Western Michigan, and these are two teams that are as arch rival as there are any pair in the country. Lefevre shoots one over the middle, has a completion to Brian Anderson. He juggles it and holds on for another Central first down.
And that's Anderson again working to the middle of the field. They love that in this offense. Lefevre throws the ball down the middle, I think, better than to the outside. And they break this one off into the middle, and it's a perfect throw. And it just got in front of the safety.
So Lefevre once again knocking on the door of the red zone. That might have been a quarterback draw. Gets him loose to the 10. It's first and goal at the 7.
And that was definitely a quarterback draw because some linemen went downfield to throw some blocks for him. Watch some of these linemen. They're going to come downfield after they initially pass set, and then boom, they let their men go, and now they're blocking at that next level, and that's what creates the bigger play. As you see Eric Tunney, the big right guard, getting down there and moving people out of the way.
That was a gain of 16 yards on first and goal, the handoff. And to about the 5-yard line goes Ontario Sneed. Not sure with the way the second half has gone why he keeps handing it off. If you're Dan Lefevre, you're your best running back.
Yeah.
Hold on to it, son. He's got 67 yards, and 65 of those 67 are here in the second half, aren't they?
Yeah, and you look at the second half, the average per play for Central Michigan has almost doubled. In fact, it has doubled. And the biggest reason, I think, is Dan Lefevre's running ability has started to affect this ball game.
Second down and goal. Lefevre, a design rollout. Cuts it back. Tries to reverse. And gets in. Dan Lefevre with a touchdown run. And Central Michigan answers the Western score, and they've got the lead right back.
Boy, and Greg Voigt, the offensive tackle on the right tackle, stayed with his block the whole way, and that allowed Dan Lefevre to get that last little bust into the end zone. That was a huge block and a great example of what Coach Butch Jones calls straining. There's White right there, 77. Watch him keep working. One of the things they grade, you couldn't really see it there, but one of the things they grade at Central Michigan every play is effort. And, you know, do you have a loaf or did you give everything you had? He gave everything he had.
17-10, Central Michigan has the lead, looking for the MAC West title as Lefevre goes over. He's up to 72 yards rushing and a touchdown on the ground. And the Chippewas have the lead.
Instant gratification has us in a stranglehold. So much so that we don't want to fix things anymore. Just replace them. Don't like your nose? Get a new one. Don't like your job? Get a new one. Don't like your spouse? Get a new one. Whatever happened to commitment? To standing by our decisions?
Try the coffee everyone's talking about. We'll even add the cream and sugar just the way you like it, leaving you just one responsibility. Tough gig. McDonald's Premium Roast Coffee.
One man will master time to become the ultimate weapon. Time Shift. Available now. Rated mature.
So I asked my dad where he wanted to go for his 60th birthday. Norway, he said, the land of our ancestors. We drank a pint at Ibsen's favorite pub. We sampled the local fare. We got new sweaters. It was the trip of a lifetime, Dad said, until we went to the Hall of Records and discovered we were actually Swedish. 2 tickets to Stockholm, please?
Whatever your story is, your City card can help you write it. City, let's get it done.
This holiday season, give the gift of Sprint Speed with a phone that lets you send pictures at the speed of light.
Dan Lefevre on the phone, and I'm imagining the conversation is something along the lines of, Coach, for the rest of the night, I'm running.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you guys up there? Because I like running. I run a lot, and I just ran it in for a score to give his team a touchdown lead.
Yeah, and Mike Pajakian, the offensive coordinator, is well aware of Lefevre's running ability, and you saw him take more advantage of that here in the second half.
A squib kick that Western Michigan lets bounce all the way inside the 10-yard line to Brandon West. He's trapped against the sideline and jumps across the 20 to about the 23.
Now let's go back to that touchdown and see Greg White's block. Now here he is, and it's not going to be a knockout type block, but it's a persistence. Watch him stay with it. He's working over there on Greg Marshall, and he stays with it, and he stays with it, and he's still bothering him. And had he not been there to get that little bit of a bother on him, I think Marshall might have been able to run Lefevre down. But that's what Coach Butch Jones talked to us about. When they grade their players, the first thing is, all right, did they execute the play effectively? Number 2, they look for effort for the entire play. And number 3, soft. They don't want you to be soft. You want to play physical every down. So they grade every play on those 3 factors. And I think you're going to have to give Greg White a double plus on all 3 of those in that play. And it led to a touchdown.
Well, Jordan White just picked up a first down. Ike Brown brought him down after a gain of 11 yards out to the 34. So now Tim Hiller, whose team a moment ago drove down, got to the 5-yard line and self-destructed, had to settle for a field goal to start the 4th quarter and tie the game. Now they need a touchdown to tie. And this Western Michigan offense has not put together a touchdown drive since the opening drive of the game. They go 82 yards and scored 7. They've only put 3 on the board since. Hiller looks for the big play. Wide open. Down the middle is Ledbetter. Tripped up at the 1. Is he in? He is down at the 6-inch line. Calvin Hissong somehow saved a touchdown, but a 65-yard gain to Brandon Ledbetter.
And that might be reviewed because it looked to me almost like he got in there. That's the first deep shot that the Broncos have taken all day, and that's just a total bust by Hissong, number 20, the safety. Now he hustles, and he gets the guy down, and it's hard to see if that knee went down before the plane was broken from that particular angle, but they're going to look like they're going to let it go.
Well, the Broncos hustle up to the line, and Hiller fumbles the snap, and now they'll try and run it, and barely gets inside the 3.
Boy, and that's the kind of year that it's been for Bill Cubitt and his Broncos. You know, just when they think they got something going, it goes the other way.
Well, the Broncos also hustle up and quick snap it. If I were them, I might want to review the officials who marked Ledbetter down, put the ball all the way out at the 1-yard line. He looked like he was at the 6-inch line to me. Hiller instead of the outside, and there is some justice. It should be Brandon Ledbetter that caps that drive with a touchdown catch, and Western Michigan answers right back.
By the Western Michigan University Broncos, getting the big play out of Ledbetter, and then he caps it off with the touchdown and made history.
The 13th career touchdown for Brandon Ledbetter, and he now ties Jake Moreland and Tony Scheffler. All-time touchdowns at Western Michigan by a tight end. Ledbetter caps the drive that he began, and we're tied at 17.
It's always there. Every time you need it. Making things move, breathe, helping the savers meet the saved. Air. It's a beautiful thing.
Okay, after Grandma's, we can come home and you can open that.
Promise?
Come on. There's Grandma.
Merry Christmas, Mom! Merry Christmas, Grandma! I think we're done here.
This holiday, give the gifts they can't wait to open.
Like the Sony Vaio with Intel Centrino Duo processor technology. Give the freedom to roam and stay connected. And now save $150 instantly on select laptop computers. That's WOW guaranteed. Only at Best Buy.
Get your weekly dose of NFL news and analysis from Boomer and the Gang. Sunday NFL Countdown, 11 a.m. on ESPN.
Now at Maple Hill Hyundai, it's the year-end closeout. Purchase a 2007 Sonata, sunroof, all-power equipment, air, front and side airbags, and side curtains, and much more, wrapped up by America's best warranty. 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. West 2730. Now just $15,951 while supplies last. Or choose the new Accent with up to 37 miles per gallon. Nicely equipped with America's best warranty. Starting at just $12,759. Maple Hill Hyundai in Kalamazoo. On the web at maplehillauto.com. We treat you like family.
I win. 063. I charter. B10. I win.
Bingo!
Winwithcharter.com. It's that easy. Winwithcharter.com. It's that easy.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Hyundai. Now there are more reasons than ever to check out a new Hyundai Azera. And Best Buy, where this holiday, the wow's guaranteed.
Well, we have gotten every bit the game that we ever could have wanted out of this rivalry matchup between Western Michigan and Central Michigan here in Kalamazoo. We're tied at 17 with about 4.5 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. And it has been a volley back and forth. This is like center court, the U.S. Open. Each team with a solid return, and the other team seems to have an answer. And that last answer coming from Western Michigan. A short touchdown pass from Tim Hiller to Brandon Ledbetter. The 13th career touchdown for Ledbetter. And the first touchdown pass of the night for Hiller. A squib kick that will bounce to the 30-yard line and won't go much further. Let's go down to the field and check in the top.
All right, Bob, two of the smartest guys in the stadium. That's Hunter McHugh and this is Stuart Geyer. They just finished their graduate degrees, their master's degree at Georgia Tech. Hunter's in computer science. Stuart here is a real bona fide rocket scientist. And what they're doing over the next 5 days, they're going to see 6 football games starting tonight. How did you guys come up with this idea?
Our good buddy Kirk Meyer, a huge Arkansas fan, challenged us to go to 6 games in 5 days. He said if we make it and survive, he'll wear Texas Longhorns gear to every Arkansas home game next year.
And the great thing is, guys, I'm going to see them here tonight in chilly Kalamazoo, Michigan. They're going to be out in Pasadena on Saturday as we see a big stack on Lefevre. They'll be out there for the Arizona State at UCLA game on ABC. Their next stop, Akron tomorrow night. Then they go to West Virginia. Then they go to West Point Army. They make the cross-country trip to UCLA. And then that night after the UCLA game, they're driving up to Vegas to see San Diego State and UNLV. And the story gets better. You're not stopping there. You love the network so much. What are you doing Sunday?
That's right. We're going to Phoenix to see the NASCAR Next Cell race on ABC.
And that's what I call celebrating your postgraduate degree in high style.
Todd brings us a little humor, brings us a shameless promo. We get the graphic in there. That was well done. And those guys, if you go on a 6-game, 5-day, 4,000-mile road trip, where do you want to wrap it up? You want to relax? In Vegas.
Where else?
Absolutely. A place where everybody just kicks up their feet and goes to sleep.
Yeah, you don't want to go to Vegas first because you might not have any money left, as there is a flag down on that play. And the Chippewas go to the screen game. There might even be a spearing on London Fryer as he came in at the end of that play with his head down.
Oh, this is a big call.
Personal foul.
Wow.
Defense. Number 6 with helmet contact. 15 yards. Automatic first down.
I don't know if helmet contact is the way you describe this, but watch Fryer's head go down. And he stuck his helmet in the middle of the back of Snead. And that's a spearing call is what that is, and it's a good call. You can't lead with the top of your head for the most part to protect yourself. That's how people get injured severely in this game.
The son of Irving Fryer, that's a huge call. That came on a 2nd down and 20 play as Ontario Snead spins for about a yard, brought down by Wilson and McCornell. Now, if that call's not made, it's 3rd down and about 17 or 18 for the Chippewas. Instead, they get 15 yards and an automatic first down. That's almost like a turnover.
Yeah, that was a tough call if you're a Bronco fan, but, I mean, the video evidence was there. He did put his head down and speared the receiver in the middle of the back, or the running back, Snead, in the middle of the back.
2nd down and 9. They want to run the option, and it's a fumbled exchange. Loose. Who's got it? It looked like Antonio Brown may have come back up with the football. And it turns out he does. Oh, narrowly avoiding disaster for the Chippewa.
Yeah, and I don't know, it looked like Dan Lefevre, the ball got caught up when he rides. Watch the ride right there. It started out with the high snap, and he never really had good total control of the football, and that thing just popped right out of there. And it's a good thing for Central Michigan that Antonio Brown was able to fall on it.
3rd down and about 12. Only a 3-man rush. To the outside, the pass goes to Brown. Way short of a first down. He is popped out of bounds by E.J. Biggers. Check that, Snead on the catch. A mild gain, and here comes the punting unit for Central Michigan.
And that play has been open pretty much throughout the night, and they finally went to it, but I don't know if that's where you want to go on a 3rd and long.
Well, that was a field position play for Central Michigan. A check down, and now Schneider Julian drops back to receive the punt from Tony McCulloch, who has been very solid so far tonight. He was 2nd team All-MAC last year. A career 39-yard average. He has changed field position a couple of times tonight. Again, a directional kick towards the sideline, and it takes a great Central Michigan bounce and rolls out at about the 16-yard line. Well, here with Ray Bentley, who, of course, played his college football for the Chippewas, so you were a part of this rivalry. I mean, to me, this is the thing that's special about college football. When you get two teams that, as Tim Hiller told us, just have a good, healthy hate for each other.
Yeah, it really is. I love rivalry games, the intensity that it brings. Not only on the field, because you're going to have that, but also in the stands, in the community. Everybody can wrap their arms around a game that's on this list and get excited about it and get involved in it, and that's what makes it so special.
Hey, a couple of those upcoming rivalry games, some of the big ones, could have a major impact on who ends up winning the national championship. Lennis Thompson, maybe a yard.
Chaz West, the corner, coming up, making a nice contain play. Keep everything inside, force it back to the rest of the pursuing defenders.
As you can see at the top of your screen, both teams have all 3 timeouts left, and that could also play a big part in the last 7 minutes and 50 seconds. 2nd down and 9. Hiller to the air once again, flushed out. Across his body and no one home. There were 3 black jerseys in the neighborhood of that pass. It may have been intended for Anthony Middleton. Casey DeRocha pressured Hiller.
Oh, that was a dangerous throw from Tim Hiller. You always hear it. You don't want to throw late across the grain down the middle. He did, and he got away with it.
Hiller now 20 of 27 for 219 yards and a touchdown. 5 for 13 on third down tonight for Western Michigan. This one's third down and 9. A four-man rush. And still he's pressured. Over the middle, a drop. It hit Middleton in the hands. He was maybe a yard and a half shy of a first down, even if he comes down with that pass. Tim Brazil was there to provide contact, but that's a drop for Anthony Middleton.
And a huge play by Tim Brazil, as he was injured in the Army game, back in the lineup now, and he's got great coverage right there. Some people might say that was interference, as he had his right hand on Middleton a little bit, but he was able to get it away with it and get up there and knock that ball out.
Where do you think those people might live?
Probably Kalamazoo area.
A wobbly kick. That dies at about the 41-yard line. We are tied at 17 midway through the fourth quarter. If Central Michigan can hold on or come back and win, they would win the West Division title here in the MAC.
These days, it seems like they're trying to protect us from everything. Roll-On protects us from odor. Coffee has a warning label. This is hot. You think we're missing the point? Let's just keep our eye on the big ball. Protect us from the things that matter. The things we can't see coming.
Cool, crispy melt pizza. Yep, melted cheese between two crispy crusts.
Wait, crispy and melty? That's two completely different things.
I know. You got one thing, then boom, something totally different.
Yeah, and then back again. Two things in one, like in
Perfect harmony.
Uh-huh.
Domino's new crispy melt pizza. Melted cheese and a topping between two crispy crusts. Get a medium for just $9.99. Call or order online.
Plastics, medicines, and innovations that make life modern come from one place. American Chemistry. AmericanChemistry.com. Essential.
Struggling with credit card debt? Is it difficult just making your minimum payments? Tired of the harassing calls? If you're in substantial credit card debt and need help, call now and settle your accounts for less than you owe. Call the Hermosa Group today to find out how you can quickly and easily eliminate your debt for less than you owe. Life can be better. Call the Hermosa Group now. Get a low monthly payment that fits your budget. Call now.
Back with our game track presented by KFC.
And it starts out with the sack on Tim Hiller that prevented a touchdown, and then the Chippewas come right back and get one of their own on a scramble by Dan Lefevre, who's got 73 yards rushing here tonight, but the Broncos answered after a long pass to Ledbetter. Didn't quite get in. 2 plays later, he does. We're all tied up as the snow begins to fall here at Waldo Stadium.
Now it's MAC football in November in Kalamazoo, right? Got big offensive linemen, the steam coming off their heads as the snow comes down. And down in the middle of the atmosphere is Ty.
Listen, guys, I'm a Rocky Mountain, Salt Lake City, Utah. This is not snow. This is like a tease of snow. We got the greatest snow on earth, so this is, but I will say this, it has whet my appetite. I'm going to call the home office and make sure the snowboard is waxed and ready to go in case it's our home.
All right, listen.
Come back in a month or so, Todd. We'll show you some snow.
Listen there, Yukon Cornelius. Can we please just appreciate a few flurries here? We haven't had snow yet. Lefevre, quarterback draw. Boy, he's been on fire on the ground in the second half and gets to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, and it's something that I believe Dan Lefevre is checking to, or Mike Bajakian's making the call. But there is nobody in this area once that linebacker drops out. He's going to drop out on his pass drop, and then there's nobody left. And again, White gets a nice block, knocking the linebacker Duclos out of the way.
First and 10, Chippewas in Bronco territory with 6.5 minutes to go in a tie game. Here comes the blitz. Lefevre didn't see it. Still delivers a strike down the sideline. Brian Anderson Wilson with a first down catch inside the 15.
Well, I can't tell you how good of a throw that is from Dan Lefevre. He threw the fastball on this one. This is the hardest ball he's thrown all night, and he had to fit it in before the safety got over there in a cover 2 look. And you see right there, the safety just does get there, C.J. Wilson, to make the tackle, or it would have been 6. But that was a big-time throw right there.
The hitch to the outside. Getting loose, Antonio Brown into the end zone. Touchdown, Chippewas, and they've got the lead back.
Boy, what a great block he had from Gardner to make this thing work. They threw it right behind the blitz. Gebhardt was coming off the edge, so they knew they had man-to-man coverage. Just need a couple of blocks out there, get the ball to Antonio quick, and let him do his work, and Brown does it. You see the blocks, bam, one there by number 8, another by number 80. That's Brooks and Gardner clearing the way for Antonio Brown to take the lead for the Chippewas.
Aguilar's extra point is good. Antonio Brown averages about 171 all-purpose yards per game, 13th best in the country, and the touchdown here.
Here's the blitz you're going to see. This guy's going to catch. You're going to have a block here, block here. It's perfectly set up. Go ahead and let it run, fellas. There it is. You've got man-on-man for the block, and they had nobody to cover Brown because Gebhardt blitzed. And because of that, they had one man, a hat for a hat, to block it out there, which they did a great job of down the field. And then Brown, just with the speed, takes it to the house.
Well, at the end of this game, you can make an argument that the winner, especially if it turns out to be the Chippewas, the team that had their 27 in the game, was the team that won, because Antonio Brown's the best offensive player all around, I guess, outside of Lefevre for the Chippewas. But number 27 for Western Michigan, of course, is Jamarco Simmons, and he was ejected in the first quarter after kicking Red Keith out of bounds, picked up a 15-yard penalty, and the big plays have now been made by Brown, and the playmaker for Western Michigan isn't there.
Yeah, and that goes under the category of, I guess we'll never know. But certainly Antonio Brown, the 27 for the Chippewas, has made his impact here tonight.
Again, the low kick, trying to keep it away from Brandon West if they can, but they give up field position out to about the 36-yard line. Matt Stevens, the tight end, brings it back. And now it's time for our Bowl Buzz, presented by Garmin, as we take a look at where the top teams in the MAC are going to find themselves in bowl season.
Well, generally, the Motor City Bowl will get that MAC champion, and then the International Bowl will get the runner-up, and then the GMAC Bowl, an at-large possibility.
Last year, Western Michigan played in the International Bowl. Team from Kalamazoo went up to Toronto.
Almost beat Cincinnati, if I recall.
So now we'll see if Western can answer. It has been that kind of a second half. Western has the lead. Central Michigan ties it. Western retakes the lead. Central comes back from 3 down to take a touchdown lead as well. And now Western Michigan has the football back with good field position. Hiller sandwiched as he throws it, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Hisson. He's off to the races. A caravan brings him inside the 15 down to about the 13-yard line.
And Hiller got crunched by Knight and Friend as he let that ball go, and he threw it right between the 2 and the 0 of Calvin Hisson. And the pressure was the big key there, and Hisson makes up for the blown coverage earlier that allowed Ledbetter to make a big play. Here he goes. You're going to see him get just crunched between the 2 as he let it go. I don't know if it affected the throw or not. I got to think that it did, because this throw, he's trying to hit the man behind him, and he never did see, with that rush on him, never did see Calvin Hisson step in front.
So now in business inside the 15-yard line. Dan Lefevre right back to work with 5:43 to go. Up the middle, hurtling inside the 10, down to about the 7-yard line goes Ontario Sneed.
And this is where the Central Michigan football team, I think is kind of taking it to that next level in close games and in time and where you have to finish the deal and get it done at the end. They have been able to do that these last couple of years in Mid-American Conference play, and that's what sets them apart from the rest of the pack.
Lefevre and Snead both looking back to the bench to get the play call, and it's Snead to the 5-yard line. Coming up on 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And if Western Michigan can hold to a field goal, if their defense can get a stop here on 3rd down and about 2, that would certainly be a moral victory, but make a comeback in the last 4.5 minutes a whole heck of a lot more likely. This is a huge play for Western Michigan's defense.
Yeah, it really is. And you see Bill Cubit over there. He just never leaves his quarterback, Tim Hiller, alone. He just is on him constantly, trying to teach him what he needs to do.
Snead, very close to the first down. Boy, he is right at the marker.
And if he's short, there's no doubt in my mind that Butch Jones will kick a field goal here. That gives you a 2-possession lead with 4:26 left. There's no sense in trying to be a hero and get a 4th and 1 in this situation.
Right after we're done, we'll bring you NBA Coast to Coast. As soon as the last 4.5 minutes, and who knows how much longer, plays out, and he is short. So it's 4th down and a half yard with 4 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Are they actually going to think about going for it? They let the play clock wind all the way down. I'm sure they're going to call a timeout. With the play clock down to 7, you let it wind down to 1 and call a timeout, and then I would have to think send the field goal unit out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what they've got to do. I think Butch was trying to get a measurement initially and then said, you know what, let's just chew up as much of this time as possible, and then we'll make a decision here. We'll get the field goal team ready to go, because I can't imagine him trying to go for this 4th down situation when you have a great opportunity to go up 2 scores this late in the game.
Teams have gone against Western Michigan for a 4th down conversion 5 times this season in the fourth quarter, and Western has stopped them on all 5 attempts. So I'm sure that's a number that Butch Jones is very aware of as he makes his decision. And the Heisman race is shaping up as we head down the stretch.
Yeah, and that horse ain't in it.
There might be a hog in it, though.
Here's a few guys that I have in it. Dennis Dixon, 4 touchdowns last week for Oregon. McFadden, the big 300-plus yard game. Tebow, he does it all for them. Chris Wells, I think, is the best running back in the nation. And then George Selby, my defensive guy, 13.5 sacks, leads the nation in tackles for loss. He is the main guy for that South Florida defense that had them highly ranked early in the year.
But with 3:55 to go in regulation time, a chance for Andrew Aguilar to make this a 2-possession game. And all Tim Hiller can do is watch from the sideline, and we may have a review as we check in with Todd.
Well, Coach Jones is trying to get a review, and you guys touched on it, but the referee, the head linesman, whatever, to him said, Coach, you're a good 2 feet short. We don't need a review. We don't need to look at the measurement. You're a good 2 feet short. I think also he's trying to knock the clock down as long as you can.
Well, you actually have one where you can challenge a call, and so maybe that's what he did. But take a look at it, and you can see right here about where he went down. It's kind of hard to see exactly where that ball would be, but here's the football. So what's that, about the 3.5-yard line?
Yeah, he needed to get inside the 3-yard line to pick up a first down based on where the sticks are on the sideline. Absolutely needed to get maybe a half a foot to a foot inside the 3. So anything short of the 3, and there is no measurement necessary. And well, now it seems like the headset must not be working in terms of communication between the field and the replay booth. So now we got to go to the phone to talk to the replay booth.
And there's Tom Hoffman, who is the replay official, and Ralph Locke is the communicator. So that would be the man on the phone. There's Hoffer. I've known him pretty much my whole life. He actually used to referee my high school football games back in the day.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he looks good.
Yeah, he never wore those glasses back when he did my games, though. And I kind of wondered about that.
Well, I guess they're getting confirmation that no review is necessary from the replay booth, which almost seems kind of like a review, doesn't it? 21-yard field goal attempt for Aguilar. to make it a 10-point game.
The biggest kick in his career.
Oh, and he just did get it inside the upright. 3:53 remaining, and it's a 10-point lead now for Central Michigan as they're looking for a division title. Plenty of time still left. 3 minutes and 52 seconds to go, and apparently the reason they were going upstairs to check as far as replay is concerned is not only because they may have wanted to take another look at the spot, but I think they wanted to take another look at exactly how much time should have come off the clock when the play started, that type of thing. And the officials' mics were not working down on the sideline to deliver that news.
Let's
but
go
here's
back.
What's at stake.
Right, Bob, let's go back to these standings. You see Central Michigan all alone up top. 4-0 in the conference, 3-0 in the division. They win here tonight, and that would clinch the West Division, and they will have a date December 1st in the Mid-American Conference Championship game against the East champion at Ford Field. And right now, the East, you got Miami and Buffalo, of all teams, at 4-1, fighting it out over there.
And Butch Jones has a young team on his hands. You know, Dan Lefevre, his quarterback's only a sophomore. More than half of the players that Central Michigan has used this season in each game have been either freshman or sophomore players. So this is a division champion should they hold on here as they bring down the up man at about the 43-yard line. They're going to be around for a while as we head back to the studio and check in with Pam Ward.
And the news in the NFL, Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, met with Adam Pac-Man Jones, and his suspension will indeed stand up. He is out for the rest of the season because of off-the-field troubles. And coming back for his 5th year in Boston is Kurt Schilling. Could make up to $13 million next year for the 2-time world champions. As we get back to Ray and Bob.
See that? She said my name first, Bob.
Yeah, there's something there that I can't touch between the two of you as Hiller goes up top, finds his tight end, Anthony Middleton. Well, there's the big play that Western Michigan needed. It stops the clock with 3 minutes and 38 seconds to go, picks up 26 yards. They need 2 scores. They have all their timeouts, or have 2 of this. Oh, yes, they do have all 3 timeouts.
This is a nice throw from Tim Hiller. You know, one knock I have on him is a questionable arm strength. He showed me right there that he can throw the ball on a windy night on a line and get it where it needs to go.
Well, after a squib kick return out across the 40-yard line and 1 pass, they're inside the Central 35. And now they're inside the 30 to the 29 as Herb Martin makes a diving catch. Only a 3-yard gain, and the clock rolls with 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining.
Plenty of time to mount a comeback being down 10.
Hiller again to the outside. Same connection. Herb Martin, 2 yards shy of a first down.
And a nice job by Chaz West. Even though he missed the tackle, he forced Martin to work back inside so he couldn't get out of bounds to stop the clock automatically.
3rd down and 2 at the 24. Hiller to the ground. Brandon West. First down and then some. Breaking tackles. What a run by Brandon West to the 15, and it stops the clock with just over 2.5 minutes to go.
Very nice play call by Bill Cubitt. Central Michigan in their dime defense didn't really have a linebacker to make that play. The only linebacker they had was Ike Brown. He was up in the line sugaring a blitz, and there's nobody there. Same situation.
Here comes the blitz. Hiller under pressure. Dumps it left and short hops it. Red Keith came relatively untouched.
And you're going to see, here's your guy right there, Brown, coming on the blitz. And he actually delays and goes into the coverage. I missed him. It was actually on the other side that came with the blitz.
2nd down and 10 at the 15. 2:25 to go. Again, Central shows blitz. Again, they come with it to the outside. To the 7-yard line, and out of bounds goes Herb Martin.
Yeah, they had a little zone blitz on that when they dropped Larry Knight, that left defensive end, into some coverage. So Tim Banks, who was a former MAC champion with the Chippewas, their defensive coordinator now, he's dialing up some heat here, trying to stop this drive.
The 7th catch for number 7, Herb Martin. Back to the ground and West. First and goal at the 3 with 2:16 to go.
And I think when you get down this close, it becomes critical to get your touchdown in terms of your comeback right here on this drive.
No question.
Even to the point where you go for it on 4th down, depending on how far you have to go.
Hiller has his team set quickly. Looks for the slant, bobbled, and caught. Touchdown! Herb Martin scores! And like lightning, Western Michigan right back in the game with over 2 minutes remaining.
And Chaz West had the coverage out there on Martin, and he gave him the inside. That's the cardinal sin, especially down in this area of the field. You got to force an outside release, and West let him get the inside position. It was an easy throw for Hiller after that.
Only 1 minute and 46 off the clock on that touchdown drive, and they preserve all of their timeouts and squeeze the extra point through. 2 minutes and 7 seconds remaining. All 3 timeouts for Western Michigan. They trail by 3.
And that means they won't have to onside kick it. But right here is your matchup, and you're going to watch Chaz West, and he's going to allow Martin to get inside of him. Right there, you see that? Plus, he's lined up in no man's land. When you're covering a guy in that type of situation, you need to be up in his grill, totally pressed. And if you're not, this is what happens to you. Great job of concentration and hanging in there and coming up with the football by Martin, because he didn't catch it cleanly the first time.
Now here's the classic 50-50 discussion. You've got all 3 timeouts. You get the touchdown out of the 2 scores you need. So now you're only down 3. Do you kick it deep?
Boy, I don't know. If I'm doing it, I'm onside kicking, just because I know the Central Michigan offense is able to control the ball. They've got an extra threat with Dan Lefevre running the football. So a couple minutes left. I say, you know what? Take your chances on the onside kick, and if you get it, you're in great position. If you don't, you still can play defense, and you still have those timeouts.
What makes that stand by the Western Michigan defense as well after the interception that much more important, doesn't it, Ray, that they held
it was
the
huge.
Chippewas to a field goal instead of a touchdown, and now by getting the touchdown quickly, they're down only 3. There were some people leaving the stadium a few moments ago that thought after the interception the game was over, and even after the field goal to make it a 2-possession game. But, boy, by stopping them and keeping them out of the end zone, you very much held yourself in the game if you're Western.
And these 2 teams actually played an overtime ball game 3 years ago in 2004, and the Chippewas ended up winning that one 24-21. And then back in 2000, they had a 21-17 ball game. So no stranger to close down-to-the-wire battles when these 2 hook up. But I'd definitely go onside here if I'm Bill Cuba.
It looks as if they are lining up to do exactly that. It certainly looks as if Central Michigan is set to guard against it. And they kick it deep. This is a live football. Brown needs to get back after it, and does, and it just does reach the end zone. Again, NBA Coast to Coast is coming up right after we're done. And let's check in with Western Michigan alum, John Saunders.
Alongside of Tim Legler, Rick Carlisle, and Greg Anthony. The debut of NBA Coast to Coast this season. We will take you throughout the entire NBA and show you all the scores and highlights. Plenty more analysis coming up after the game. Back to you.
All right, John, thanks very much. Speaking of John, yes, on the left-hand side, he was a hockey player here at Western Michigan. I'm not sure how he got a helmet on all that hair.
That was the pre-helmet days, I believe.
Well, now Western Michigan has to get a stop. Speed dropped down after a gain of about 2.5. And with 2:01 to go and an even 2 minutes to go, Western Michigan calls their first timeout.
Yeah, and Central Michigan needs to get 1 first down to ice this ball game away. And that I believe would do it for them. With Western having 2 timeouts left, if they get to 1 first down, they'll be able to run it out.
Yeah, mathematically, if they get 1 first down, it would be impossible for Western Michigan to stop the clock.
And this is what you sweat for in the summer. This is why you're in the weight room. This is why you get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and roll through the snow like Bill Cuban makes his guys do sometimes. This is what it's all about. Coming right down to the last 2 minutes of a rivalry ball game that's on the line.
Central Michigan tonight has 147 rushing yards, but they have only 4 rushing yards in the first quarter. And they actually put a few seconds back on the clock. 2 minutes and 3 seconds to go. Second down at about 6. Hoskins dancing at the line, not getting much, if anything at all. A swarming tackle led by Zach Davidson.
Boy, you talk about bringing the house. Billy Miller, the defensive coordinator for the Broncos, he brought everything on that one. A 7-man blitz, just had 4 men back covering, and it was able to stop the Chippewas. Now the question, there's Billy Miller, the question for the Chippewas becomes, do you put it in the air?
Central Michigan is on the verge of winning the MAC West if they can hold on here. But look at the losses that they have had this season and who they have chosen to play out of conference. They lose to Kansas, an undefeated North Dakota State team, Purdue, Clemson. I mean, the combined record of the losses that they have had this season is 27 games over 500. Not too bad.
But that's no excuse, and that's the first thing that Bush Jones will tell you. You schedule those guys, you expect to go in there and get it done.
You sound like kind of a bitter alum.
Yes.
A little angry there. Well, here it is, third down. Do you put the football in the air? 2 for 11 tonight on third down for Central Michigan. And you know what? Lefebvre needs to go to the sideline once again. He's not sure. A lot of confusion, it seems, on the play call. Here comes the blitz. He will put it in the air. Loses the football. Sacked and fumbles. At the 26-yard line, Western Michigan recovers.
A huge play for the Broncos defense. Gets them in position to take this ball game here at the end. They bring an all-out blitz again. Central Michigan late getting the snap off. A little confusion. And Lefebvre saying, hey, what do I do? Makes the call, but is not able to get rid of the football in time. That blitz comes and gets him from the backside. Duclos, the linebacker, makes the blitz, forces the fumble, and now the Broncos have it down 3.
Hiller over the middle. The catch made by Brandon West. He's down to the 15-yard line with 1:43 to go.
And Central Michigan's going to start using their timeouts, or they should, to keep time left.
They've only got 1 left. Both teams with only 1 timeout remaining. Western Michigan, if they punch it in, would all but win the football game. There might not be enough time on the clock with only 1 timeout for Central to answer. Here's West breaking free. Touchdown!
What an answer by the Broncos.
Now this extra point is crucial. It would force Central to need a touchdown. The snap bobbled for a moment. It was low, but Jones is able to put it through. Jim Laney did a nice job of recovering a low snap and getting it down. And now it's a 4-point game with 1:33 remaining.
Let's go back and look at that touchdown and see what created that huge hole. And you can see right here the nose guard. Watch Casey DeRocha. He gets off this block, and he's got a chance to make that play right there. But West was having nothing of it. Broke the arm tackle, got himself into the end zone. A huge play for the Broncos.
There were 2 times in this game, Ray, where you could see clearly that Dan Lefebvre was totally confused as to what play was supposed to be coming in from the sideline. And both times, rather than calling a timeout, once down in the red zone and then on that last play where he lost the ball there, didn't call a timeout. Both times he was sacked. And you wonder, with 1 timeout remaining, a play that could ice the game or maybe cost them the game, why Lefebvre might not spend a timeout and come over and talk to his head coach on 3rd and 5 and say, I have no idea what you want here. Let's talk about this.
I think he, you know, when he put the hands up, he got what he wanted. And then he knew what he was going to do. He made the call, but it was still pretty frantic at that point, and that proved to be a costly play. But still, your defense has got to come up and rise up and make a stop, but they weren't able to because Western just rammed it down their throat.
2 touchdowns in 33 seconds as Antonio Brown gets it out to the 35. Now, the only small problem for Western Michigan is they scored so quickly. Central Michigan still does have a lot of time on the clock. They've got 1:28, of course, college timing rules with the clock stopping on first downs, end of timeout to work with. They do have time to move the ball down the field, but now they have to have a touchdown.
Brandon West has forced 5 guys to miss tackles on him today. None more important than that broken tackle on Casey Carosha. But like you said, the Chippewas have time to get this thing still done.
Lefebvre over the middle, in space, finds Brian Anderson, who's been his go-to guy tonight. That's a first down to midfield, a gain of 15, and it stops the clock with 1:22 to go.
Really nice throw on that in route by Lefebvre.
Again, a 4-man rush. Incomplete. A short hop from Lefebvre. It'll be 2nd down and 10 with 1:13 remaining.
And he rushed his footwork that time, and that's what led to the short throw. He didn't step and finish towards the receiver. He kind of fell off his horse a little bit. He's got to maintain his technique, even though it's intense down there.
His 2 big playmakers, Brian Anderson and Antonio Brown, are in a slot to the top of your screen. That's the way Lefebvre looks. A high throw over the head of Brown. And incomplete. He had him running free at the Western 30-yard line.
Boy, and that's another one that Dan Lefebvre, you don't see him miss it very often. And when he does make mistakes, it's with his feet. Let's watch his feet on this one. It wasn't, the feet were not the problem that time. I think he tried to aim the ball a little bit because he had a guy so wide open instead of just firing it.
3rd down and 10 from midfield. Here comes the blitz. Lefebvre can't beat it to the right side. In and out of the arms of Justin Gardner. Anthony Gephardt there in coverage. And a flag comes out.
I think he got there maybe a hair early on the coverage. Bill Cubitt doesn't think so.
Pass interference. Defense, number 33. First down at the spot of the foul.
That's Mario Armstrong. And it wasn't 33. It's 38.
Yeah. They got
Gephardt.
the number wrong.
They got
It was
the number
Anthony
wrong.
Gephardt.
And it's hard to see from that angle, but it looked like his left arm got there early.
So it's a 10-yard penalty and an automatic first down to the 40. Under pressure, Lefebvre just got it away and almost got picked off. He missed Brown, and London Fryer almost got the interception. Cody Solinsky was there.
Here's that previous play. Freeze it right there. Yeah, you could see. It's hard to see, but it looked like Gephardt had a hold of him. Had a hold of Gardner with his left hand, and that was that pass interference play that kept this thing going for the Chippewas.
2nd down and 10 at the 40 with 1 minute even to go. Central Michigan has to have a touchdown. A pump fake from Lefebvre. He wants it all. He's got Anderson. Brought down at the 1-yard line with 51 seconds remaining. And he brought himself down. Just couldn't maintain his footing.
They have been running those inside routes all day long, and that set up this one. It was an in and go by Anderson.
Now, what's the rush if you're Central Michigan with 51 seconds remaining? Quarterback sneak.
Well, I don't think he's trying to score just yet. I don't think he is. I think he's just trying to get some time off the clock and not lose a lot of yardage.
It's 2nd down and goal. Central still has a timeout left. They can take this down, certainly take their time in terms of what play call they want to make, and now they're going to spend their timeout as Butch Jones, I think, saw his team a little ragged after the big play, and now he's going to settle down as sophomore quarterback.
Actually, a Western timeout. But here's Anderson. He's going to come in. He's going to run that square in like we've been seeing, and then he's going to head upfield after that. And that's the difference. See him make that square in move. They've been seeing it all night. The safety jumped it. C.J. Wilson jumped that in route, trying to make a heroic play and end the ball game. Watch him jump this in route. And that's where, right there, you see he's done. And all the Fever has to do is make sure he doesn't overthrow Anderson. He almost did, but Anderson's able to bring it in. Couldn't quite get into the end zone with it. But they've been saving that one all night. We've seen him hit that square route, that in route, time after time to Anderson. And then the time when it meant the most, they went square in and go. And C.J. Wilson bought it. And the Chippewas are on the brink of pulling this one out.
After the timeout, second down and goal at the 1 with 35 seconds to go. Snead, the tailback. Lefevre tries to sneak again. Pushes the pile. Is he in? No signal yet. The Chippewas think he's in. Western Michigan thinks they got to stop.
I thought he was in.
The clock is rolling and the officials are chatting. Nothing yet. Clock's down to 20. He's short.
And they're winding that clock.
Well, you were right, though, earlier. Western called a timeout, so Central still has a timeout they can call, but it's third and goal with 13 seconds to go.
But this should be reviewed. It really should be reviewed because that was a touchdown. At least from my perspective and watching it, it looked like he broke the plane.
The previous play is under review.
So they will go to the replay booth to possibly determine what you'd have to say is the greatest game in the history of this rivalry.
It's certainly right up there. I'll tell you that. But you check it out. Dan Lefevre. That looks to me like a touchdown. You can't see the football, but you can certainly see his helmet and his body get across the goal line.
So here's the problem, though,
right there. But yeah,
you can't tell. And the precedent was set on the field by the officials. Once the officials rule him down at the 1-yard line, then there has to be clear.
That's a touchdown, though, Bob. Look at that. He's got the ball. You can see it there.
They have to see the ball go across the goal line, though. You have to be able to see the football break the plane in order to give him a touchdown. I mean, there has to be conclusive, without a doubt, replay evidence to overturn the precedent once it's set on the field.
Now, you know right there. You could see the football, but you can't tell if he's across that line. I think it's a touchdown, but does video evidence say it's definitely a touchdown? That one I'm not sure about.
Well, here's the problem, too. Let's say, just for the sake of argument, the officials ruled it a touchdown on the field, and they went up to replay. I don't think they would be able to overturn it either way. I mean, to me, because the ball is obscured the entire time during the play, the precedent that's set on the field is automatically going to end up being the call.
Yeah, you got to figure, all right, can they do the math? Because you can see the ball from that end zone view, and he had it up by his face. He had that ball up alongside of his helmet. And then from the sideline view, you can see that area of his body crossed the goal line. So if you do that math, you could say Central Michigan touchdown.
It was 10-7 Central Michigan at the start of the fourth quarter.
I mean, you see he's got the ball up right under his chin strap.
Well, they are still talking to the replay booth down in the field. They may be talking to the replay booth not only about whether or not the ball was obscured and the actual touchdown call, but once they determine what the call on the field is, whether it was confirmed or overturned, they may have to readjust the clock. Because while they were having their conference, the clock went from in the neighborhood of 25 or 27 seconds all the way down to 12.
Right, and you know, you saw the reaction, too, of the Central Michigan football team. They legitimately thought they had scored. It wasn't a situation where they were trying to sell something to the officials.
They may have already made their decision and might right now be determining what they're going to do with the clock and how much time they may have to put back on the clock. Although the ball was so obscured by that pileup, they may have to take a look at every possible replay we can offer them.
Yeah,
and the fans are trying to get a peek in the replay booth.
Yeah, they want to help Tom Hoffman out a little bit.
I wonder what their suggestions are.
I can tell you what it is. No touchdown is what they're saying over there.
Well, I think our decision is about to be made official.
Following review, the play stands as called. There was not a touchdown. It'll be 3rd and goal. Please reset the game clock to 18 seconds. 18 seconds.
And you're going to see Dan Lefevre try it again, I believe.
On 3rd and goal from inside the 1, with 18 seconds put up on the clock, the umpire is leaning into the pile. The ball has not been placed ready for play yet. Central Michigan still has a timeout. Sneaks it again. A pile up again. Is he in this time? Pushed forward.
Yes.
Touchdown!
The second push got him over.
Bill Cubit is out on the field by 15 yards. Their entire bench on the Western side exploded in anger because Western believed that they had stopped forward progress. Just as much elation blows up on the Central side as the touchdown is signaled.
And I think they made Central Michigan score twice.
What a game. And they're going to review this quarterback sneak.
And the ball popped out at the end of that thing, but I don't think that's going to have a whole lot to do with it. But let's take another look. Here you go. Now, the initial surge, he did not get it. But on the second push...
Well, they don't have him stopped at that point, and now
right
finally he goes in for a touchdown?
And they'll let the play go longer on a goal line play. And you know, the officials did not blow an early whistle. They let it work. They let it happen. He's not down. Things are still moving. And that final surge, the push that he got from behind, is what finally gave him the impetus to get in there. And watch right there, the running back, Ontario Sneed, comes up and does a Reggie Bush push and gets Lefevre across the goal line.
Well, again, to me, the same argument that we had about the previous call, you apply here.
How do you overturn it?
What possible replay do you see where the ball clearly is visible with the plane of the goal line, a better look than the official on the far side had, because they ruled touchdown? I don't think they can use any replay we're showing to overturn the precedent set on the field.
Yeah, I think the first one was more of a touchdown than that one.
Look at the Western bench as the touchdown is finally called. And they obviously thought, A, the ball popped out, but B, that they had stopped forward progress. And I have to agree with them. I think forward progress was stopped to me when he moves forward, then moves back, then gets basically stonewalled.
And Bill Cubit threw his hat out on the field, had to run and go pick it up. And let's see what they come up with this time.
Following review, the play stands as called touchdown.
Ray, I think in both of those reviews, what we saw was
you couldn't really
the precedent on the field was set, and replay did not have clear-cut evidence to overturn either play.
And in my opinion, the first one was a touchdown, and probably not the second one, for what that's worth. But nonetheless, it counts.
To stretch to a 3-point lead with 12 seconds to go. A flag down. A largely inconsequential flag. Whether the extra point ends up being good or not for Central Michigan, Western Michigan is going to be left with a kickoff return, which they will either return for a touchdown or not.
Defense, penalty is declined. The point is good.
And the point after ends up being good, the flag against Western.
How about this fourth quarter, Bob? 48 points. You were looking for that shootout, right? It just took a little while to happen.
It was 10-7 Central Michigan at the start of the fourth quarter. And there have been some tough losses this season.
Yeah, and Bill Cubit, he feels like another one was taken away from him. And there was one taken away from him earlier, and actually the officials conceded the fact that they were wrong on some calls when they lost the game to Akron. But here, take a look. This is the first one that we had reviewed. Now, in my opinion, he goes over right there. That should be a touchdown. You see all the Central Michigan guys looking, they react. They say, yeah, touchdown. But there's no call from the official. Now, the second one. Take a look at it. Here he gets stonewalled, but they don't blow the whistle. They let him keep working, and in the push, he gets the ball right with that last little push. The ball broke the plane, yeah, and that's why the arms went up from that official on the far side. He saw the ball break the plane right there, and that's why he made that call.
And really, the only element of replay on either of those two looks that we gave you that could have overturned either call was if you could see the football. And we never saw a replay where you could see the football. Well, Akron returned a miracle touchdown against Western Michigan earlier this season with a scramble play along these lines to win a miracle game. And with 2 seconds to go, it turns out Western Michigan can't get a miracle return of their own. So now the Broncos offense comes on the field to run one play and one play only.
Yeah. The Chippewa defense has got a guy all the way back inside their own 10-yard line. Look at this. They got guys way back here. They're going to do whatever they can to try and prevent Western Michigan from coming up with a touchdown. So they've got guys way back there.
Tim Hiller throws it over the middle, and now they will try a lateral drill. A scramble for the football. The play's still alive. Getting loose and running the right side is Jordan White. He's got some blockers out in front. Throws it back. Keeps it alive once again. Tim Hiller, the quarterback's got it. He pitches it back. And finally it comes out of bounds on the central bench. And the Chippewas can celebrate a miracle win here in Kalamazoo and a division title in the MAC.
What a ball game. Boy, it lived up to everything we had thought and hoped it would be. Come down to the last play. And Bill Cubitt very disgruntled and upset over some of the calls tonight. But give his team a ton of credit because they hung in there and kept fighting against all odds and came back and thought they had stolen this one from the Chippewas. But Central Michigan, with Dan Lefevre at quarterback, with the double move to Anderson, set him up at the goal line for those controversial quarterback sneaks. But they pull it out one way or another, and the Chippewas become Mid-American Conference champions, at least West Division, for the second consecutive year.
Butch Jones must feel about 10 years older than when this game started. He's standing by with that.
Well, Coach, nothing comes easy in the MAC. You get your MAC West Division Championship. What did this comeback victory tell you about your team?
I think it tells about the passion that our kids have, their heart. They never stop playing, and they believe. They had great confidence, and I can't say enough. And then there was a sideline adjustment on the last play to Brian Anderson. Just can't say enough. Great football game.
When Western scored with under 2 minutes to take the lead there, what did you tell your team when you sent them back out on the field?
Told them we were all right and we were going to win the football game. And they all believed, and we executed down the road.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
Bob, back to you.
An amazing football game, Todd. Has to be arguably the best game in the history of this great rivalry. Our final score, Central Michigan 34, Western Michigan 31. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Ray Bentley, Todd Harris, and the rest of our ESPN HD crew, I'm Bob Wischusen, saying so long from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Coming up right now, it's NBA Coast to Coast. Let's go to John Saunders.
I can't wait to get up there. It's gonna be, it's gonna be crazy.
If you're a fan watching this game, this is fun stuff.
And he scoops it up and hammers it home.
You think that's a pretty good high percentage shot?
Patino Mobley was unbelievable in this first half. Welcome to this season's debut of NBA Coast to Coast. John Saunders, Tim Legler, Rick Carlisle, and of course Greg Anthony, our point guard guys. Ready to get the season going?
We are. Sorry about your Broncos.
Yeah.
I really feel bad.
No, it was a tough one. Especially after putting the hockey picture up. You think that would have got me to win there, wouldn't you?
I'm just loving the afro.
And Rick, you happy to be here with us?
Great creativity on the goal line, by the way.
Well, whatever.
Very happy to be here.
Broncos, good job despite. Now, we want to remind everybody that this show is an interactive show. In other words, it's not just a bunch of talking heads up here, although we'll be talking a lot. You can be part of the show. Send your email questions. Go to ESPN.com and search Coast to Coast. Send in those questions, and we will try and get them on the air. And this man, Chris Broussard, will be the guy who will be answering, or at least fielding most of those questions and answering most of them as well. Also, the hardest working man in show business, Matt Weiner, who is my Jamaican cousin, and he's along with Jalen Rose. They'll be bringing us scores and highlights tonight as well. Matt working on, I think, about his 4th show today. Now, LeBron James playing in action tonight, and LeBron James getting hurt. Let's go to the call of the game. The Cavaliers are facing the Warriors right now. Rick McLeod and Austin Carr from the Ohio NBA FSN Network.
Trigger three. Nowhere near. Nobody hurt. Ball is out of bounds, and it belongs to the Cavaliers. That came off like a cinder block. LeBron was bumped inside.
Popped him in the face. Got hit in the face when the guy was swinging to try to save the ball. I think he hit LeBron in his eye.
Guys, LeBron headed for the locker room. Do you see exactly what happened? Is it a hand or the ball?
I think it was a combination. Yeah, it looked like Biedron's hand, the back of his hand caught him across the bridge of the nose and in the eye. Yeah, all likelihood he will be back, it looks like, based on what we've seen. And
you get popped in the head, you know, especially in the nose.
No ankle or knee, which is good.
Eyes water. The Hornets facing the Lakers. Lakers, everything's going up good in Los Angeles. The Clippers 3-0. The Lakers 2-1, looking to go to 3-1. Let's go there for the call now.
Back out Armstrong with Paul. Centers Peterson. That's what he wants to do as he steps beyond the arc and fills it up from three-point territory. So big-time catch-up now for the Lakers, down by 10. Halfway through the first 12 minutes. Fish running into his own man. Not a lot of spacing there. And Luke Walton got West out of position. It's a foul from behind on West. With the second team foul on the Hornets.
Mo Pete picked it up. Three-quarter court. Just threw it to the other end, threw it right in. After the whistle, of course.
Save it.
No, get it out of your system.
His teammates are save that for the end of the half. End of the quarter. 18-8. Yep, Phil Jackson wants a timeout, I think.
I hope. All right, we, of course, will check in on that game and other games throughout the night. Of course, the big question when it comes to the Lakers is Kobe Bryant. The fact that they're off to a good start, does that help the trade or hurt the trade?
I think it hurts in terms of Kobe Bryant going somewhere else. I really felt all along, as far as the Lakers are concerned, they were going to have to get off to a great start. If they found themselves under 4 or 5 games under 500 around Christmas time, I think you're going to see Kobe Bryant's frustration really come to the surface. He's come out really lighting guys up. They're scoring a lot of points. They're playing well early. I think that quiets the rumors down a little bit. Yeah, they're playing terrific basketball. I've seen all 3 games. Even the game that they lost against the Houston Rockets on opening night, you know, they fought right to the very end, and Kobe had a monster night that night. In terms of a trade, I've said it before, this could be a long time before something happens. I mean, this is a guy with unprecedented power, and it'll be interesting to see how this thing unfolds in the days and weeks and months ahead.
Yeah, and Rick, you make a great point about the unprecedented power, because remember, he has a no-trade clause in his contract, meaning that unless he likes the deal in terms of the team he's going to go to and feels that that team has a chance to contend, he's just going to void the deal. So in that respect, the Lakers are kind of held by gun by Kobe Bryant. He's going to determine whether or not he gets traded, and in essence, who he gets traded to.
Well, from a management point of view, he also has clauses that kick in that give him more money. How much tougher does that make it?
Well, not so much, because that he can also waive that. So it doesn't. He's got a 15% kicker that allows him to escalate his salary, but in the right circumstance, he would probably waive that. But again, I just don't see anybody putting a deal on the table that makes sense for Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, he can waive a portion of it, but, you know, you're getting into some real complicated stuff, and it's light years away at this point. He's going to continue to fall